in the stripes is your girl Adara, and I am Sharif, and we already have Big Kevin Mendoza and Big Kyle Burdett with us in the chat. We have Jay Alex as well as Chase Bands. He be chasing. I hope you were an Apple as well, my man, because you didn't have to chase too far for that. Easy Trader, Coin Clock and Tax, and Ronaldo Pitchbulls joining us as well. Big Scott H, let's go to you as well, my man. A Proper Paradox, Killer Cam 1020, Gorev, as well as Oscar Plays. Fiddlebeck joining us, the Pawns, the Fawns, the Lambo Trader Extraordinaire. 1320 Wolf, I see you, Mr. Calling me Mustachio and Adara, I like that. Adam Deleuze, I see you, sir. James Dell, TNR. 25332, I see you, sir. Damn, Hamster1, Michael Lewis, as well as J Scars, and there's a whole lot of people. Bright Awakening as well, Michael Lewis, and Mildred Colado. I hope I did not butcher your name. Welcome to everybody. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fine day? I know there's a bit of a Cybertruck situation that you'd like to discuss, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, this Cybertruck actually opened the door. This was a pretty, I know, right? Calculated. I know. I'm getting. You're infecting me with the puns, Adara.
Good.
But in a good way. This was a 176 dip, a ram into that 10-period exponential moving average. Tesla has not closed below the 10 since that 935 candle right there. I'm talking about the 5-minute chart, and I'm talking about the 10 exponential. You'll see it hold up on this candle at 10:55 and again at 11. That precipitated me to get in, got long, scalped into the high 176.80s, and I'm out of the trade as quickly as you can say, how do you do? So, how do you do, Ram? All right. Yeah, it's all good with the mic there. So that was the trade, in and out, super quick on TSLA. Obviously, we'll be looking at a lot more than that, but I know that you have triangles on your chart. So before we get going, you want to tell the people about your trades?
Yeah, so basically, I'm an overthinker, so I did a lot of thinking last night about why certain things, Tesla, didn't go as well yesterday, and I think that's because I was not scalping. There were actually some good levels there, but if I had approached it like a scalper, which is how I should be approaching things, that's how I trade the best, it would have been fine. So I said, Adara, no more of that. You're going to do what you're going to do. And what you're going to do is scalp and just get out if you don't feel comfortable. NVIDIA, this first trade, really proud with how this went. Planned out here at 125.60. I was seeing stuff I liked in the book and the tape, so I thought, Adara, we can go a little bit lower. We did go a little bit lower, got the lower half out here just below 125.50, so that was about like 30 pennies, pleased as punch. Then the second trade, I got involved at 125.77. Again, this was another like basically scalp, tape scalp. I was trying to get into 60s. I was going to risk up into 126s, but when I saw what we were doing at 125.90s, I said, Adara, you're not comfortable anymore, get out. And then basically, so what I'm going to do is just trust myself a little bit more, try to make sure that any losses I have are going to be smaller. I'm lessening the losses because I want to make sure that I can amplify the gains. Also, yeah, SPY scalp short, exact same principle. Saw stuff I liked in the book, risked like 10 pennies, tried to do that. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. We will be doing book scalps and hopefully only book scalps unless there's something screaming at me otherwise.
A trilly. Now the most valuable company in the world, overtaking the soft one, 3.33 trillion. Yeah, there's 4 threes in a row there for Apple as it breaks into all-time highs here, Ram. It's about to break the current high of the day. That it's making new highs of the day. We're on our way to 218, it looks like here, 217. Being broken quite decisively, 2/3 of a dollar incoming, dancing at the $0.50 right now. 5% in the clear. We were up 7 yesterday. I watched this monster, I'm talking about Apple, trade on Blue Ocean yesterday. And in fact, this one gapped down on Blue Ocean yesterday, trading in the 205s overnight after it closed out 8 p.m., I believe, in the 207s or 206s. So this one was gapping down overnight, but it didn't really matter because as soon as that real money, that institutional money started coming in post-bell today, well, you see what the price action is. So let's get to, we'll get to that in a second, but I want to show you the small cap gappers that I'm keeping on my chart before we start the lesson du jour. I'm going to have to keep a GME on there because up 4 3/4 right now, looking to go 5. This one with an offering yesterday, price target downgrade today from Wedbush. More commentary there coming out with respect to this company, so we'll keep an eye on that. AMC, though, not doing a whole lot on the day, so I'm just going to leave that one up just in case it does get going. It did move yesterday and is above $5. And I would submit to you that that $5 level on AMC has been a bit of a top as of late, holding it right now. The other small cap gapper du jour, and this one needs a whole lot of respect because it's in triple digit territory, baby. Opened up the day at 50 pennies, but that was the last time it would look at that level on the day. $2.27 is DDC, the deets. Give you the deets. So after this latest PAMP, it's a $43 million market cap. It's done 48 1/3 million shares on the day. It looks like it's going to halt here at 237. If this level holds, we're going to probably get a halt here on DDC. Give it a couple of more seconds. And it does look like we're going to halt up at this level on DDC. We are now halted. Let me give you some more deets now that we're halted. 13.5 million share float. And let's bring in Trade Ideas and shout out the NOS boss and his crew and find out what the short float is on DDC Enterprises Limited. Negligible amount, Katina Man, 0.4% of the entire float there is shorted, so not much to talk about there. But an epic move nonetheless. Let's see what this thing is. Why is this thing moving? By the way, there it is. Day Cook. No, DDC Enterprise. Yeah, Day Cook acquires Asian food brand OMSOM, consists of a combination of DDC's cash and stock paid out over 4 years. Exact financial terms not disclosed. That's all we need to know. As technical traders, is there a legitimate headline there that's causing this to move up? And I would submit to you that there is. An acquisition is pretty decent. 358.77% in the clear. The other one, DRCT. Not as much volume on this one. It's about 2.25 million, but a hell of a looking chart pattern there, especially held that 375 really well. And now it's knocking the door of 475, 468 HOD on DRCT, $65 million market cap, and a float of 3 million shares. Keep your eye on this one. This can go. MLGO was making moves before the show started, now breaking down below VWAP, so I'm not going to really talk about that one as it is breaking down. But I wanted to tell you about a new SPAC that has made its way onto the market today. Or what is it called? PCSC or what?
I know it's on Perspective. Oh yeah, it's PCSC.
Thank you, Adara. PCSC. This guy's is a SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company. It hasn't done a whole lot of shares on the day, 481,000. You can always tell it's a SPAC because the SPAC opens up at $10. Technically, you're supposed to be able to get your money back if it de-SPACs or it doesn't end up, amalgamating with another company. But anyway, keep your eye on this one. It's not doing a whole lot. I just thought to mention it there. Adair, anything you want to mention to our viewers before we start the lesson du jour?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a little baby IWM scalp. This Tesla is looking mighty tantalizing here. I'm going to have to per Tesla pates in this little wiffle waffling it's doing from 176.30 to 176. So that's a... and again, I want to congratulate you again in your Tesla trade.
I appreciate you, Adair.
Yeah, but now it's time for Lesla.
It is. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour, guys. As we kind of prefaced on the morning show, we are talking about expanding triangles today, and this is a bit of a bamboozler because sometimes it can be a continuation pattern. The other times, no, I'm a Gemini. I feel like being a reversal pattern today. I'm kidding, of course. So technical analysis offers a variety of chart patterns to help navigate the price movements. Expanding triangles, or sometimes as they're called, broadening formations, are unique patterns that can signal either a continuation of the prevailing trend or a potential reversal. Bamboozlers. They occur when the market is experiencing heightened disagreement amongst investors over the appropriate price of a security. So a bit of tug of war between buyers and sellers. Buyers become increasingly willing to buy at higher prices, while sellers find even more motivation to take profits. This creates a series of higher interim peaks and price and lower interim lows. So essentially the defining characteristics of this, as you'll see in a second, is higher highs, but also lower lows. Kind of a weird combination there. When connecting these highs and lows, the trend lines form a widening pattern that looks like a megaphone or a reverse symmetrical triangle. So let's get right to it. So understanding these expanding triangles, the first thing you need to know about them is they're characterized by their diverging trend lines. So unlike the symmetrical or the ascending or the descending triangles that converge, come closer together in other words, expanding triangles have diverging trend lines. The price action creates, as I mentioned, higher highs, but it also creates lower lows within that triangle, with each swing exceeding the previous one. Case in point, here it is. You can see the bearish expanding triangle, and the only reason it's bearish there is you've got a decided break through the lower trend line, and the bullish expanding triangle identical to its bearish cousin. The only difference is it breaks through the upper trend line, okay? So why are expanding triangles relevant? What are we using them for? Well, first and foremost, usually we say, oh, they're good because they're continuation patterns. They show you that the trend is continuing. Well, not this one. This one can be a bit of a bamboozler. As I mentioned, it can be a continuation pattern, but sometimes it can act as a precursor to a reversal. And we're going to talk about how to try to be able to distinguish whether it's continuation or a reversal. So identifying these expanding triangles, usually we say look for an established trend, but that's not always the case here. They don't always have to come out of a trend. But one thing that is very characteristic to them is these diverging trend lines. So you draw the trend lines along the peaks and the troughs of the price swings. These trend lines should diverge, meaning they'll move further apart as the pattern unfolds. And so with respect to their use for continuation patterns, that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about their use for reversals and their use for continuation. So for a continuation setup, they are obviously gauging or they're guiding you into what direction the price action is going to go. So if you get a break above the upper trend line, it's kind of it's foreshadowing that the price is going to continue higher. So a breakout above the upper trend line, which is a bullish continuation, or below the lower trend line, which is a bearish continuation, suggests the trend might resume. And one way to look and try to confirm that it's not a fake out breakout through the trend line is to look for volume confirmation. Again, you're looking for above average volume for the candle that breaks above or below the trend line. And above average here, you're going to compare to the volume bars ensconced within the triangle. So what was it doing when it was in that triangle pattern or below the trend lines? Is the volume breaking it above or below the trend line above average than the preceding ones? So that's what you're looking for there. And it also helps you set target projection. I love it for this one. So the measured height of the triangle from its base, obviously not from the point, from the peak to the opposing trough can be projected upwards or downwards to estimate the potential target price. And so here's what I mean. So this one is a continuation formation. I just wanted to kind of give the example. So you have a downtrend here, and then you get a period of what looks to be a consolidation, but really it's an expanding triangle with lower lows and higher highs. But look what happens here. You get the decided breakdown below it, and it ends up continuing. So this is what it would look like for a continuation formation. And here's what I mean by target projection. So you're looking at the base of the triangle from peak to trough, okay? And you're saying, all right, from over here it's 280 to about right here it's 260. So I know that from the top of the trend line to the bottom of the trend line, it is $20 worth of range. You can go ahead and project that $20 south or north, depending on where it breaks out, and then say, well, I'll wet my beak around here. So there's at 264, you're covering at 244, because you know it's a $20 range for the triangle. Again, these are zones, not levels. It should give you like wet your beak around mid-40s, to mid-40s, not exactly at 244. Technical analysis, it's an art, not a science, okay? So that is what I mean by target projection. But now, how can we use it for potential reversals? So in a reversal setup, you're going to have to look for the exhaustion of the trend. By that I mean the expanding price swings can indicate underlying buying and selling pressure is weakening, potentially leading to a reversal. So you have to look out for that to see whether the trend is exhausting. And you also need to be on the lookout for false breakouts. Breakouts from the expanding triangle can be quite deceptive. Be cautious of quick reversals that come back into the pattern. So you may want to use a confirmatory tool here, either a momentum indicator, or use the 3-day rule or the 3% rule that I've talked about in the past. You can just Google that. And it's also important to use it with confirmation with other indicators, kind of like what I just prefaced. Due to the potential for reversals, use additional technical indicators like RSI or Bollinger Bands to gauge momentum and potential overbought and oversold conditions. And here's what it looks like when it's a reversal pattern. So the trend that preceded the symmetric or the expanding triangle was an uptrend. It then ranged within the uptrend, and then you got the big boy Huadunk, right? And so this is kind of how it would look as a reversal pattern, you know, as compared to what I showed you earlier when it was a continuation pattern. All right, so how do you trade expanding triangles? What's the move here? So first of all, you're going to need to figure out if it's a continuation or reversal. So expanding triangles require extra caution due to their ambiguity. Consider the following. If the triangle forms within an established trend, so if there was an uptrend or downtrend, and then you see the higher highs and the lower lows come in, a breakout in the direction of the trend is more likely to be a continuation. So there you go. So if it formed within an existing trend rather than just started forming from zigzags or consolidation, it's likely to continue. And then your entry and your stop loss. For continuation trades, enter shortly after the confirmed breakout, whether it's a break up or break down. Place your stop just below the trend line for long trades or above the upper trend line for the short trades. And some additional tips here, obviously, manage risk wisely. Expanding triangles involve higher volatility. Manage your position size carefully and consider using trailing stops to lock in profits. And patience is key here, definitely. Don't rush into trades. Wait for clear confirmation of the breakout direction and consider additional confirmation indicators. I hope that helps, Adair.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting that lesson together, Sharif. I think this is a really different one as well, because we've discussed triangles on the show quite a lot, but this is a really different type of triangle, and it's one that I think you see a lot in the wild, but you're never really sure how to approach. Because that's a triangle a lot that I'm like, why does it do this? And now hopefully we have an answer, or at least one possibility. At least when you see these triangles, you can look at it further and be like, is that what that triangle is?
Yeah.
So thank you, Sharif, for putting that together.
Absolutely.
I apologize for the weird faces there. But yeah, is what the new question to ask when you see a triangle.
AMC's moving.
AMC, so is
AMC
GME.
at just high of day. Yeah.
Whew. GME's at like 34.5 over here. Whew. Yeah. Wow. I want to look at because a lot of people are like, oh, like GME's moving. Like, yeah, no, sorry guys, we were just doing that lesson of the day. Here's GME. GME earlier was looked like a nice little range. Like, look at this rejection here of that 32 area. I literally went over to Sharif. I said, GME range. And Sharif's like, oh, yeah. But yeah, so GME's laughing on my face. Now, that is certainly not a range. Continuing to push higher. Look at these. This is, to me, is a great level if we come back into, I don't think we will. It's like about $3 removed now. But that 30-60 area on GME, this is gorgeous. We bounced here off that 9 EMA, pushed higher, had another 9 EMA bounce, continued to push higher. I don't mind the 9 EMA level for GME. Like I said, right now I'm moving towards tape scalp, so that would be the extent to which I trade this. But if I get a tape scalp off GME, it would be off the 9 EMA. I don't dislike that look at all. I also want to talk about IWM, the trade I'm currently in. I already have 40% of this out. The reason I kept in the other 60% is because I don't have any reason to leave it. I just wanted to make sure I locked in those profits. If we break above 206.40s, which it looks like we might be trying to do right here, then I'll be getting out. Really what I liked was that 90 EMA rejection in the lower high. This is my second short in IWM today. And honestly, IWM, if you keep playing these levels, I have no qualms about staying in this short. There you go. I said it, IWM. You heard me. It's up to you now. Just talking to stocks, just casually. But yeah, so also I want to talk about NVIDIA. Because someone in the chat was like, oh yeah, like that, you should have stayed in that NVIDIA trade. Honestly, I'm proud of what I did with NVIDIA because I know NVIDIA with NVIDIA. It worked better in my head. But no, so like I said, the thing is, I know I trade at my most functional level when I'm just taking scalps. So that's the type of stuff I have to stick to, right? If I'm tape scalping, if I'm book scalping, if that's the type of trader I want to be, I need to stick with that. I need to try to hone that, which is why I got out of NVIDIA, took my 30 pennies, tried another trade that didn't work out. That being said, this VWAP bounce and it's also confluence with that bounce off previous resistance. I love that bounce. That's a great look. I think there's some opportunities here. I also think if we reject off 125.80, you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that thing short again. So keep an eye on that. IWM coming back in here. Please just punch. Again, just really trying to work on holding certain strategies and trying to figure out Like, you know, if you know what you're successful with, I think you kind of owe it to yourself to try to refine that. So that's what I'm trying to do today.
Bang. I'm long AMC trying for this. I'm going to give it to 534. We're going to give this a try. I want to trade this because everybody gets excited about it. So we're long. I was looking for this top defend over here. So I'm like, all right, we cleared it. We got into 545. This was the top over here, 538. Do we come back and defend 538? The answer is no. So we're actually breaking down below. We're at 536s. So if we break 534, I'm just going to get out there. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and do the dance with this one. Let's look at something that's actually doing well, technically speaking, and that is DRCT. It's coming into VWAP, but this one has had a bit of a mixed relationship with VWAP. You can see over here on the aggressive dips on the 5-minute, we hold up at VWAP, but you see its propensity earlier to break down below VWAP and not really kind of use it as a line in the sand. You know, it's a bit of a mixed relationship, I say. Sometimes it did respect it, like right there. Look at that 435 dip right at VWAP and then gets bought up again. So DRCT doing good here, doing well, I should say. My grade 3 teacher would be very upset with me right there. Miss Bailey, I'm sorry, Miss Bailey. DRCT, let's load that up over here and let's put it up on a trading screen. I like this one. I'm going to put a dip trade at 435. I already dipped into that level. So I don't think I'm going to put that level there. No, I don't think that's the right move. I'm going to put it at 435 for small size, okay? And we'll see if we get another dip at that level. Put it at 438. We'll front run the size a little bit there. If it does come back and defend that level, and I definitely like this area over here. Okay, so now it's not really about VWAP. It looks like it's price action support. Look at that candle at 951, comes up into 440, rejects, goes all the way down into 370. We then take out 440 at 2 to the hour. We get into that 475. And then we come back and defend 440. So price action support there, not VWAP. That's what this thing is looking at least from my estimation. So we'll see what DRCT does. Back to AMC. Okay, back in the money here by 2 whole pennies. Oh my God. Yeah, no, we're kidding.
Oh, sorry. I was just getting excited for you.
No, we're there. 2 pennies. So I'm going to put a beak wetter in front of the $0.50. We'll see if we can get anything de-risked over here, Ram. At that 548 area. We'll put an out at 548, see if we can get something up there. That's if it makes it up there, an entirely different story. Gorev, NVIDIA with a decent bounce off VWAP. Yeah, tell me about it. Somebody's well in the money on that, and by that, somebody I'm talking about, Sean. Let's have a look at the NVDA trade. Great call out, Gorev. Adara had a 6 short on NVIDIA, and well, look at that. VWAP comes into play, and it's not just VWAP here, Gorev. Look at this area over here. From 945 to that breakout at 1010, the top was 125. So it does come in and does break 125. But look where the closing print is. It's at 125.09.7. So it's above that 125 area. So good look for you there. We're still making lower lows, though, lower highs, excuse me, on NVDA. You could make the argument this could be a bull flag, right? Especially if you look at it on the 10 or the 15, it'll look awfully bull flagish. As you can see there on the 15, looks like a bull flag. But I would say if you're not going to take this at VWAP and get that nice cost basis, then wait for the making of another higher high so you can kind of gauge the trend there. That would be my suggestion to you, but absolutely print on it. And there I got stopped out of AMC as it did break 534, so we end up losing on that one, Adair.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, but I did put a new nickname for you in the chat, AM Sharif. Why not?
It's hilarious.
Why not? But yeah, so I don't know if it's hilarious, but thank you. Also, I added to IWM. I think one of my biggest issues yesterday with Tesla. Again, I'm just gonna I feel like those Tesla trades yesterday did something to my soul. I spent all night just thinking like, where did I go wrong? Like, cue the sad violin, like the film noir music. I was like, what happened? And I realized it's like, the ideas weren't bad, but I wasn't, like, it should have been a scalp. I should have been scalping it. And also, if you see stuff you don't like in the book, why are you still chilling here, right? So it's like, that's what I'm trying to learn from. The other issue was adding into, I don't want to say into oblivion, but a little bit into oblivion. So what I'm trying to do today is, that's why I wanted to add to this IWM, because I did like the ad. So I said, Adair, you can't be scared to add just because you had some questionable, decisions yesterday that were all your fault. Like, it's like, if you see the lower highs in the book, which is what I was seeing, because initially we were seeing a high on the book of like 206.30, 206.31. Now I'm seeing highs that, well, now they're getting a little higher, but I was initially at that point seeing highs of 206.25. So I said, Adara, add to the position. You owe it to yourself. This is where it makes sense to add. So I did that. Nice look. I want a little bit of a crack here into 206s. I'm not sure if I'll get it. I have no reason to leave yet. Flat in the position right now. Already took profit twice on this. So we're going to keep getting, hopefully, the IW massacre comes in. Not for me, but for this stock. I just want to see it get to VWAP. You know, because like I said, I still feel like this is kind of scalpier because I am still trading it and staying in it off scalp levels. But yeah, ready to see where this goes from here. Again, I have no qualms about adding a little bit. Pretty small position, just really trying to go with my gut and trust myself. Also, AMD over here being like, hi, I'm the range of the day. And I'm like, yeah, I think you are, AMD. I mean, like, let's talk about AMD. Let's talk about AMD. Base, 159.70. Top, 161.80. Mwah. That is like a $2+ range. Again, does this really fit at all with the strategy I'm trying to do, which is scalping off the book? Not necessarily, so I want to be cognizant of that. That being said, do I have any qualms about getting involved in this if that range does set up and if I have lots of confluence? I have no problem with getting involved. Oh my gosh. The thing that makes me think I might not be able to is this move up here is a lot slower and I think a lot more concentrated. I think the buyers are much more here to stay than that first move we had off the range. This was a couple little like zippy candles here. Up, I don't know why I said it like that. Up around 10. These candles are slower. They're more concentrated. We have that VWAP bounce multiple times in a wick level. So I do not want to hop into this short. I do not want to go chasing waterfalls. But you know, sometimes you don't want to stick to the rivers you're used to either. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here in that AMD. I definitely think AMD could be an option. But I see you are in what has become, I think, one of your favorite large caps lately, Microsoft.
Yeah, I know. And you'd think it wouldn't be because it's so expensive, right? It's so easy to get cut up on it. I see a good amount of respect here for the 10 period as well as the 20 period on the 5. I see higher highs and higher lows. So I'm going long here. Let's see what we can eke out of this one. I have a planned DCA to add if it dips below 438. I have 438 mid-90s for the add on MSFT. Obviously, you know, we're printing local highs here on the name. It's up a 1.25% on the day. So we'll see exactly what we get. I'm looking at Apple as well, looking for a possible retracement into the 10. It's been hugging the 10 these last few days. So if it continues this way, I definitely want to be able to get in on it. Let me just put my stop here, 437, and we'll put 437, and then we'll put 50 for that. Right. Okay. Cool. So that stop is in place. Now I'm also looking at Tesla. Tesla just printed HOD 178.5, technically 178.45 on the Cybertruck. It's been up and to the right. Another stock with a healthy amount of respect for the 10 period on the 5. You can see here, since this candle, as I mentioned earlier, 935 was the last time we were below the 10 period on the 5. This was the last time we touched it at 1110, and you can see it was a great hold there on TSLA with respect to that level. So we'll continue to watch there. DRCT, I just got into that one, so this one's going to have to hold this level. Otherwise, we're gonzino. Oops, 1 second here. Let me just get my DRCT. So I'm long 41s on DRCC, so this is going to have to hold the $0.25. I'll put it 1 penny below the $0.25. And then we'll cover everything at 19s. We'll put that stop in place there. Let's go back into the soft one, nicely in the money now on Softy. I'll be looking to de-risk in front of the $0.50 if that comes into play. We'll put that beak wetter. Oh, that's not the one we want. That's not the one. There we go. Oops. So we'll put it right up here into the $0.50. Yes, okay, so Apple now has come right back into that 10 period. So decisions to be made here at 217. I'm going to go long at that 217.05. Let's go ahead and sit 217.05 for the defend of the level. If we get it, we'll see exactly what we get there.
Yeah, I don't want to say a stock is behaving weirdly, but NVIDIA and the book at 125.35 is just fascinating. I've just had my eyes on it. I've looked at it in every direction. And I was like, oh, Adara, go short 125.55. You like that 125.80 rejection? Blah, blah, blah. And then NVIDIA was like, I'm not going to give you that, but I will give you the heebie-jeebies, just how I sit at this like 125.35 level for like a good minute. I was like, Okay, so why I mention this is because I think NVIDIA is trying to make up its mind here, and I don't want to be involved in it while it does that. Like, I have no interest in that. I think we could be flipping long, and I say that because we had this bounce randomly, again, 125.35. When I see stuff like that in the book and the tape, that's where I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? That's something to borrow a term from someone who was sitting in this chair, and again, shout out to him a couple days ago, that's distinctly different. That is distinctly different action, the way that was moving. So I want to be very cognizant of what I'm seeing here in the book. That being said, I still think we could get that short off that 125.45. Like, we're really struggling getting above there, but just the way we got spooked there and the fact that we do have a higher low, we bounced off VWAP, et cetera, that's something I want to be cognizant of before I make any further decisions. NVIDIA is always on my radar, though. Also, because I did reference OB here, it's funny because Amazon is also one I'm looking at. Not to the extent that I'm looking at my AMD, IWM, SPY, whatever, but this Amazon kind of getting rangy. Look at these higher lows here off the 90 MA. Like, this is a nice look. This is not one that I feel comfortable trading just because I don't want to take a setup that looks nice but isn't my type of style. You know what I mean? If this got a little bit rangier, like on my, it's because I have the 1 minute on my side chart. That's why I was like, why did this look so different? Yeah, it's because of the 1 minute. This is such a range. This 187.70 to 188.10. That's actually, if I traded that in the 1 minute, it's maybe not a bad range. But yeah, moral of the story is Amazon is on my mind, but I'm not exactly going to place my order for delivery yet, if you know what I mean. It's on its way, Zos, to being on in my good books, but I need to wait. Michelle Hebert, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. GME, $32 is support, former resistance, 40 next. Yeah, let's say, okay, that 32 hold. Yeah, okay, Michelle Hebert. This is a nice look. Look at this. This is a great look. So resistance, especially because we tested that not once, not twice. We only tested it twice. We broke above it the third time. We broke it above it during OB thrice. Then we come here, we bounce off 32. I would like to see us break above that previous high first. But yeah, I think I see what you mean about 40. I think the way I look at this, I'm always going to want to see what the next natural progression is. For me, the next natural progression is going to be 33.60. But the next natural progression is to find out why Sharif just pumped his fist there.
Woo! The soft one is going, baby. New HOD on MSFT. I love when that rhymes. Look, guys, Microsoft is a big boy here. We love Apple, but the soft one is also the biggest of the boys. It's not the biggest at the moment because Apple has retaken the king of the market cap story. But I mean, Softy's definitely not far behind. About 100 million behind right now. All-time highs right now, I believe, on Microsoft. Let me just double check that I'm accurate on that. Yes, I am. So the current high that we just printed here on MSFT has never been printed in the history of Microsoft stock. That is $438.60. We're printing 53s right now, 52s. Let's see if we can get that continuity. The market isn't at day's high right now. We're about 20 points off that high a day. So we'll be cognizant of the fact that, diverging. There goes Softy. We're about to touch 439. Well, we're at the $0.75 at 438. We're 1.4 in the clear now. There's 475 doing well on this trade. Let's see if we can pamp a little bit more over here on MSFT. Let's go back and have a look, though, at DRCT because we're involved in that name if I can find it. There we go. Okay, so I did buy at this level. I did like this $4.40 area as a key of price action support. It was previously resistance. We've been at this level a bunch of times, so I don't want to overstay my welcome at 440 because it's obviously it's the more times you touch support, the more times it could break. So that's what I'm trying to say. We were touching it over here for just basically, we've been holding it since the start of the show. I put my stop through the break of the $4.30 area. My first beak wetter is about 20 pennies above where I got in. So we'll look to take out some at 460 if we're able to. So that's my look there. Softy off highs. Let's go back into the soft one. It did get into 75, coming back into mid 40s. I think I'm just going to pack my patience with this one, and I'm going to have to respect that it's really holding above the 10 period on the 5. And despite the fact that it's not giving me the kind of aggressive continuity, maybe that some other Mag 7 names Apple can give on the day, but I'm going to try to pack my patience with it. Even though obviously you just hate to not get out at top wick, but you have to understand that that's trading. Anyway, Apple, At the 10 period right now, breaking down below 217 as I see it there on my side screen. So this one's coming in, though. It looks like there could be good price action support at 216, by the way. And the reason I say 216 is because look how many topping tail candles we had into that 216 level before we took it on a decisive closing basis right 5 minutes before the show. 10:55, we took 216 on a good close on the 5 minute. Prior to that, it had been topping tail after topping tail after topping tail through 216 and a rejection. So if Apple, if, that's a big if, comes down into that 216 area, I will be buying in and around there. In addition to that, that's where the 20 is kind of hanging out, the 20 period on the 5. It's hanging out at the $0.75. We may not have to wait long for this 216 touch and bounce. Hopefully, we're at 216.63 now as we move down into those levels. So we'll keep an eye on the Apple today as the Knoble is. He always calls things by the.
You like the Google, though.
Yeah. I love that. All right, so DRCT came into 58s, and I was waiting at 60, and I didn't get printed. Sucks to be me, but I do like the fact that it did hold off 440. I don't know how long it holds off 440. We've been touching this level far too many times for my liking. This stock is around for a good time, not a long time. These small cap gappers need to be viewed with a healthy dose of suspicion because they are not large caps, okay? And so you need to remember that. Gorev, NVIDIA now breaking down trend line, like you mentioned, could be a good long shout out to Gorev. I see it. It's actually breaking above the trend line. Good call there. Almog, Adara, Sharif, have a good day, guys. We'll tune up later. Have to go give my sister a ride. All right, Almog, go do your thing. Obviously, take care of chores, take care of the fam. That's number one. And we'll see you tomorrow, my friend.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. I want to talk about the SPY because you may be like, Adara, you were in a long and you got out for like 1 penny. Yes, I did. Let's talk about it. What happened was I got out because I have like I said, I need to stop staying in trades that I'm not comfortable with. Like, it doesn't matter, oh, it's a good setup. If I feel like weird being in it, you know what I mean? It's not going to go well or I'll panic and do something weird. So why I got out of the SPY was I stand by the level I got in. It was kind of rangy. I said, Adara, if we hold that 42.90 a couple times, got involved 542.95, got involved 542.96, whole penny. No, I'm joking, it's 1 penny. But no, so why I got it where I did was we bounced. We were holding that support really, really well at 542.80. But we got to because I was like, I just want to see 543 break. We get to 543, and when I tell you it drops like 5 pennies, like it runs away like a scared deer. I'm like, Derek, you don't want to be here. It's like Bambi skating on the ice in the movie. I'm like, you don't want that. Now, do I think this could still be a long potentially? But if I see any other like weird skittishness happening at 543, I'm going short. I'm taking it to 542.80s. I'll take 15 pennies. I just took 1 penny. Like, honestly, like I said, I know I'm not saying this is like massive profit or anything. Really what I'm trying to do is build my confidence, and become the type of trader that I want to be. And yeah, I mean, SPY, if you keep projecting 543, you know what I'm going to do. Like, you know, watch that SPY. Also, two super chats here. Thank you guys so much. Ooh. First, we have Fugazi Bear, 199. Just cashed in my big Kyle puts on $PYPL. $, space, $. So a whole $6 signs. I like to read all the emojis. You know this, sure. Fair. You know, I want to make sure everyone who maybe is like not looking at the screen has an adequate representation of how everything.
As one should.
I think that's part of.
Pushback, incoming. I
want to shout you out, Fugazi Bear. That is 90 EMA rejection, 90 EMA rejection, 90 EMA rejection, 90 EMA rejection. And this time, this push into 64, you get not only a 90 EMA rejection, but you get confluence because it comes in that previous resistance area. Like, I mean, I have no words other than congratulations. And I was going to say, hope you print. That's what Sharif always says. I don't have to. I know you printed. So nice look. I want to talk about those fist bumps, but I also want to look at the super chat. Thank you so much. John G. Sheffield, 199 super chat. Big, B-I-G, big. Next meme squeeze, gap to 350 coming. Short, interest 40%. Let's take a look at big and see what the big deal is here. Big, no, I'm joking. It's a pun. The pun was there. I know nothing about this company, so let's find out. Okay. I have to say, 1.37 million shares not. Okay, this is big lots. Oh, they reported last week. I know this company. Never mind, I do know them. So they reported last week, big lots. Let's take a look here at what we're doing on the day. Okay, I have to say, and again, I know meme squeeze aren't really based on fundamentals. I have to say, though, there's something that I want to address on this chart, and that is going to be this kind of flat bottom breakish that we had at 340. So I see what you mean about 350. I think the 350 breakup, that is a level we need, but I think it's worth noting that this level is a little bit rife with history because it was that flat bottom break. Like we had this high of 840, then we come in to this 560, another lower high here, 440. We're trying to make a higher high here at this 480 level, which is another level that we had some previous chop and turnaround going back into late 2023. Then we have our last higher low, we get into 380s, and then we quadruple. So I have to be honest, like I think I agree with you about 350 being a level. I think there is a little bit less confluence, though. There's a little bit less for me motion in the ocean other than the short float to suggest we could get that nice move up. But thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I think if we break that 350, that could be a nice look. I just think breaking 350 could be a bit of a moment. Also, yeah, SPY above 543. I have no interest in that right now. I just saw it on my side chart and was like, okay, that exists. But I want to talk about NVIDIA. Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you so much, DJ Marshall. $5 super chat. I bought a June 17th SPY 542 call yesterday afternoon for $1. Out today at 370. Wow, congrats to you. I mean, we'll talk. I was just mentioning in passing SPY 543, so clearly we are well above that 542 level. Shout out to you here, DJ Marshall. This is a fantastic look here. Let's look at the daily chart for you and see how this is. Yeah, I mean, we're at high of days. I don't even know what the point of looking at the SPY, the daily chart was for me, but as you can see here, SPY and high of days, you are clearly pleased as punch there, DJ Marshall, as you should be. Congrats on your trade, and thank you so much, everyone, for the super chats. We're just so happy to be here and look at things. Also, I do really, really quickly want to look at NVIDIA, because I kind of mentioned, I was like, let's see NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA is kind of topping in that range I like, but like I said, I would definitely be waiting to see something I like in the book before getting involved. Also, I should have taken my SPY short, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, NVIDIA, you keep rejecting this level here, 125.80, and I just don't have eyes on it. I want to watch. I think NVIDIA is, like I said, shaping up for something. I need to wait and see what that something is.
Have you watched the original White Men Can't Jump?
I've seen that's like Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. Mm-hmm. I've seen clips, yeah.
You've seen clips. You haven't seen the full movie?
Not the full movie.
So you have no idea what this is. We go and sizzler. We go and sizzler. Right. Neil knows exactly what I'm talking about. All right, guys. Took it out there. I'm talking about the soft one. We got long 438.20. Took out the top at 438.80. Happy with this one. Wet the beak at 50. So 50 out, 80 out. DRCT, please as dang punch with this one. This is an area of technical support. Got in at 440, wet the beak at 459, took everything out at 475. Very happy with these two trades. Let's see what the next one is. I want to see what's this one doing? DDC. We kept talking about DDC earlier being the triple-digit monster. It's the only small-cap gapper in triple-digit territory today. And not just a cool 100%, not even 2, but 300%. And look at this dance that it's doing at the 10 period. What is going on with DDC with this? Very, very, you can see this is kind of like an equilibrium between buyers and sellers. The topping tail is equidistant to the bottoming tail. You've got to love that. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. It looks like there's somebody buying this at $2 rather than really it finding support at the 10 period. Here we go. A fifth of a dollar or the quarter of a dollar seems to be a bit of a local resistance area. That's where the halt level is. We halted down at 2.25 and we haven't been above 2.25 since that down halt. But we're still holding above VWAP, above the 10 period, above the whole dollar. So I still think DDC awfully bullish. It's about how you weasel into the trade. I think that it's going to determine whether you're successful on it or not. But clearly, 300 and a fifth is nothing to sneeze at. And you can tell it's off highs. It's definitely a lot higher than that, maybe high 300s. Anyway, keeping my eye on that. But look at this, guys. I'm 0 for 1 on AMC. But that doesn't mean that I can't give it the other another try, the old college try or whatever your educational background is. What I see here personally is respect for the 10 on the 5. So there's been said respect maybe since 10 after the hour when we reclaimed the 10 on the 5 on a closing basis. Prior to that, we had been a little bit above it, a little bit below it. Now the wicks are all bouncing off the 10. So if I really want something here, I think that you know, I'm not going to look at price action, support, and resistance because that bamboozled me last time around. I'm going to try to base it off the 10 or off the 20, whatever it's respecting. Let's see what we can do with AMC here because it's definitely doing things. There's a very similar story to GME. I don't want to say the price action has been the same, but look at this level of respect essentially since almost the same time with the 10 period on the 5 here for GameStonk. So let's see what we can do with some of these names if we can base some trades on some technical indicators and make a little bit of money. Let's quickly go back into the large cap world over here. Wow, Softy is flying to the high side. I got out of this way too early. Unreal, breaking through 439 like it doesn't even matter, guys. This is a blue sky setup. We have never been this high on Softy. Every new high subsequent to this new high is going to be a new all-time high. And so you've got nothing off which to base technical resistance. You can, if you want, try to use pivots. I would submit to you that pivots haven't factored in on the day. They didn't factor in here. And, well, right now they're factoring in at 439.5. So we'll see if this is just a quick holdup or whether we get a clear area of technical resistance at this level. The other one that's coming in hot is TSLA, Katina, man. It's $1 from 180. 179.03 on the Cybertruck today. Another one that's absolutely respecting the 10 period on the 5. Look at that, all the holds up, and I made that point very clear. 9:35 this morning was the last time we were below the 10 period on the 5. Good look today for Elon and his crew. Yeah, more Elon headlines overnight. You're not going to really get into them, but yeah, just it's unrelenting. Unrelenting, the constant Elon headlines. They love the Elon headlines. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Anyway, what's your look over there?
My look is NVIDIA. I want to talk about this because I know I said, oh, I don't really know what I want to do with NVIDIA. And I think NVIDIA, like I said, I still think this book, we're building to something. I'm still not sure what that something is. However, why am I short, you might ask? Because I think no matter what it is, I feel way better about a short case. Now you might be like, Adara, are you sure? You had that VWAP bounce. I don't know why I'm forming this as like a weird conversation with myself. I apologize. No, the reason I got short here was because the way that 1235 level was holding, is still kind of holding. I was like, I don't know if this is really support. I think this could be, I think it was temporary support, but I think really if that support goes, it's gonna go. And that's why I want to be involved in that trade.
Did you see Reddit? Reddit is flying, Adara.
I saw it dropping earlier today.
It's up 12.5%.
Really?
This thing is going, and there's no catalyst. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Basically, what I'm saying is I basically got involved initially at that 125.55. The plan, and this was a planned addition, I had this at 125.70s in case we got there to supplement the position. If we got above 125.80, I would be out. We were never able to get to that level. See, we're still bouncing off that 125.35. That's something to be cognizant of, so I will be getting out there. But yeah, really, it's just like taking trades that you feel good about in a way that you're comfortable taking them. That is how I want to be trading now. I don't want to say pleased as punch yet because I've only partially punched out, but I am pleased as punch with the setup, and I think having setups and executions that work out isn't too shabby either. Also, I would like to say, pardon?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you said
something. I just looked at you, yeah.
Oh, hi. No, sorry, I'm tired. Also, yeah, clearly I should have taken the spot short at 543. It's fine. I didn't. It's all good. But yeah, again, I want to shout out DJ Marshall. Thank you again for your super chat. He had calls on this at 542, so I mean, you killed it there. Right now, though, I think if we bounce off VWAP, there could be something. Like I said, though, my main level for SPY and IWM, SPY WM maybe as a pair, we'll just be shorting them every time we get to that 9 EMA. That's the look there. Pleased as punch with NVIDIA and happy with the approach that I've been trying to take.
All right, we got to read out some super chats, and you know which one I'm going to read out. Big Kyle Burdett, what's up, my man? I give the old Mrs. Decker, Big Kyle, I don't know what you ever think you're going to do with your life. Try. Joke was on. Oh, got it. Joke was on you, Mrs. Decker, when you needed that custom metal work. Yes, Big Kyle. Way to not be petty. I'm just joking. Because I was shouting out. Yeah, that is a flex. I was shouting out Miss Bailey. Big Kyle shouting out Mrs. Decker. Yeah, man, blast from the past. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. Let me know how you're doing today, Big Kyle. Shout out to the OG there in the chat. Did you mention DJ Marshall's?
I did, yeah. I went through all the other ones, yeah.
Sounds good. All right, I want to mention Reddit, guys, because Reddit is doing things on the day. and I don't have a catalyst. I've been looking here in my blotter. This is the move on Reddit. That's a 5-minute look. Right now, you can see 69.59 HOD. This one started the day at 61.50, okay? So that's a big move for a no catalyst name. But I got to tell you, the volume on it is a little suspicious. I mean, it's not bad. It's 3.7 million. I'd like to see a little bit more, but that's fine. I want to see what it does with respect to some of these indicators. What does it do at the 10? What does it do at VWAP? Because there's really no price action support until we get all the way down into 64.50. That's the IB high on RDDT. So shout out to you, Scott. Scott brought this to my attention. I didn't have eyes on Reddit till he showed me it, but that's the IB high there. You know, price action support, I'd say 64.40. Well, you could make another argument too that there could be price action support at 67. You have a bit of a double bottom there on the 5, so there was a buyer buying this at 67 because it did move into 69 a third and then dipped into 67, you know, which it was promptly bought. So we'll see what this one does. Is this going to go up on the side chart over here? We're going to replace BNAI because, well, we're not trading that today, and we're going to put Reddit. Just so that I can have eyes on it and we can make informed decisions. Shout out as well to Killer Cam. He brought 216 to my attention on the I can't call it the dead one. I just can't. You can't call Apple the dead one.
The revived one.
The revived one. Adara, well done.
I meant to say it earlier and I forgot.
Well, you did well because that's a really good name. The revived one. Ram likes a zombie. Oh, okay, Ram. It's a dead man walking. Don't you have an iPhone, Ram? Yeah, she does. Ah, okay. She likes zombies. So it's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Yeah, 216 looks like it came down to not quite Killer Cam. The low on these last two candles here, 216.22 and 216.23. So somebody's buying up at the $0.25. That's for dang sure. We're back into the 50 right now. Let's just watch, okay? We haven't had a 20 touch yet. We haven't had a 216 touch yet. I don't need to jump into this super quick. I think we're extended. It's up 4.5%, this, that, and the other. I'm just going to pack my patience. I think Apple will give me multiple opportunities possibly on the day. All right? So I'll keep that on my radar. AI. Oh. I got to read this out. This is funny. Sharif and Prad gave us infinite comedy. Sharif and Luca gave us Big Bird and Cookie Monster, but nothing beats Sharif and AI. Adara, thank you both. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, there's weirdly been a lot of talks in this chat about me being a robot or AI.
Guys.
Which is like, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
That's not how I took it, but I don't think you're an AI at all. Big Kyle, put my hero. Okay, shout out to Fugazi Bear. Jesse Munson, Adara, Sharif, are the stocks the firm won't let you trade? Yeah, there are actually stocks. Usually they'll be newer companies or, you know, they'll have, Katina, man, what is it? They have to trade above $1 for a certain amount of days? What's the rule? Can't trade anything that does under 50,000 shares on average daily volume. So or anything under $1 on OTC. I knew that there were rules. So anything under $1 on the over-the-counter, shout out to Jeff Mendel and his crew, and anything that's on any lit market that does less than 50,000 shares a day, you can understand why, because we have to manage risk, right? And if there's no liquidity, hard to manage that. Big Kyle, I opened some longer time frames, SPY puts, when we hit 4.4250 on the ES. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. I just wanted to shout that out. I had something specific that I want to talk about, but it's eluding me right now. So, that's right. Amazon. Guys, Amazon retraced into the volume weighted average price. So I want to see what the Zon does around here. Earlier, Amazon was respecting VWAP as a level of support. It broke down below it, started kind of using it as resistance, and then we claimed it again. I'm not going to put a quick order just to get long at VWAP. I need confirmation, proof that it's going to hold up here. I'm packing my patience, but I may want something here to the long side on Amazon.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Burdett actually making a good point here that I don't get sarcasm, much like many robots. So that's a pretty good.
And you know what I've said about that in the past? I've made a point to you.
Yeah. I know. I share some similarities with a certain.
You pointed it out to me too.
Well, yeah, I pointed it out because so I don't know if anyone. I think you might know this if you watch the show.
Yeah.
Sharif loves the character of Sheldon Cooper,
Yeah.
and he loves Big Bang Theory. He loves young Sheldon. I share a few similarities
A little bit.
with Sheldon
You're
Cooper.
a lot nicer, and you're more empathetic.
Appreciate that.
He's
Yeah, I
not
know.
empathetic.
I definitely try to be that empathetic there. But yeah, in terms of like the memory and the sarcasm, those are, and like, you know, the patterns and stuff. But anyways, and so I point out to him, maybe that's why we get along so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good times. I want to look at Meta for John Kim quickly, and then we'll get to these super chats. John Kim, it's funny, I saw your chat, I was literally staring at Meta with bated breath. I was gonna go long this at 506.20. I never would have gotten it anyway. I think the lowest it got was 506.23, but I canceled my order because at the time we got a topping tail candle. I wanna see what we do the 90 MA first. I like this look though, because we are making higher lows here, consistently higher lows, consistently higher highs in a very rangy way. I want to see what we do with the 90 MA because we have rejected this level a couple times here, just shy of 507. That's something I really want to see. Also, I think that VWAP rejection might take a few more times. I think Meta could break higher, but it really is going to make you work for it. Also, I'm not into physics, Jay Lee. That is true. That's fair.
But you're pretty good at math, though, no?
I like math. I'm not science, but I love math. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, thank you so much to Jera Lewis, $2 super chat. Your thoughts on Oracle breaking 140? Let's take a look. I know, yeah, I can't see the future, but we can try to tell you what Oracle is giving us there. Oh, okay. So I think we have had higher lows from this low here. I want to shout out Sean Short. That was too many SH sounds right in a row. But yeah, so go Sean for his short. Also, look at this. What I always think is interesting when stocks find levels that are whole dollar levels, right? So look at that 136. We bounced off 136. Since then, we've had kind of a gorgeous higher highs, higher low situation. I'd love to see this 9 EMA and VWAP confluence bounce. I think that'd be a great look. But also right now, for me, it looks like we're running into 138.30. Why that specific level, you may ask? We'll look at this top intermediate at VWAP before we continued our fall down. Then we tried again to break above it at 1110. Oracle's like, I'm not really feeling that. Now we're trying again, and we're seeing another topping tail candle. I think for me, the big level first is going to be that 138.30. If it can break above that and continue on its pattern, I don't think it's a bad look. It also could be a flat top break, actually, if we keep seeing these higher lows and that top. So yeah, I think 140 could be possible. I think I like to always look at things like one step at a time in terms of these breakouts. Jesus Cabrera, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Hood, please. Looks like it wants to do a big move. Yeah, let's take a look under the hood at Robinhood and see what's going on here with Vlad Tenov and co. Yeah, it's not a chair pushback, but it's a nice little look here for me. I think these VWAP bounces are nice. I see what you mean, like it kind of wants to do a big move. I think I'm not seeing higher lows necessarily, with the exception of this first move down here in 2360. Obviously, we've had higher lows than that. Right now, I think we're just kind of seeing a bit of a VWAP bounce range. I think if we can break above this top of 2410, I think that'd be a nice look, but I feel a lot less confident about that flat top break in Hood than I do about Oracle. To me, I can't see the future, but I can see something interesting. Oracle for 138.30 is, I think, the level. Hood, I don't feel the same way about any levels here. I think right now Hood's kind of chopping and turning. Nice move up, nice VWAP bounce, but to me, there's not as much under the hood here as there was with Oracle.
Can't help yourself, I love it.
I can't.
All right, I see stuff here that's happening. I see things. I don't see things, I see things on the screen. 216, I put in a dip trade now to defend AAPL at 216. I'm frugal by nature, so I put it at 05s. I could move it up. I mean, it dipped into 18s, I think, at the worst there. Yeah, 216.18 is the local low after that 218.12 pump. So we'll see if I get filled. If I don't, I don't. This is why I didn't want to get long at VWAP on Amazon, because I didn't have proof that there was going to be respect. It's not like it's gotten into that level multiple times on the day and bounced, so I could be, more assured that there was a buyer there. No, it does look, though, that it wants to hold up green on the day, because 187.25 is the closing print. And look at this candle over here. It dipped into 27s, and then we moved right into 41s. So that closing print from yesterday looks to be like it might be that support line in the sand. Alas, I've missed it. We'll see if this one can print a new 5-minute candle, make a new high. I could definitely get in there. So AMZN still on my watch. Not doing a whole lot today, but I don't really need it to. The other one, I could absolutely be persuaded to get back in on the soft one at these levels. Why? Because look at the umpteen amount of tops that we have at this 438.5. I don't know why 438.5 is featuring as a level on Microsoft today, and I don't care. All I know that it is acting as price action resistance, and now that we've cleared it by some distance, it's acting as support. Look at this bottoming tail candle right off the 20, and now it's gonna close above the 10, or it looks like it might if in 3 minutes, if it maintains this level. This candle's got 3 minutes left on it. But what a move up here for the soft one. So 438.5 price action, previous resistance. Let's see if it works as support. In addition to that, it was the first touch off the 20 since this candle over here at a quarter after the hour. So good look there for Softy. I didn't get printed yet on my dip trade on the zombie or on what is it, the revived one. Good job. I love how she's like gaslighting me into doing this. But yeah, I'm sitting at 10s waiting for that print. We'll see if we get it, we get it. We don't, then we'll have to look for a different setup on Apple. Guys, 180 could be imminent here on Tesla. This was a level that we played in the past. We've been up there lately. Let's go to the 15 here. When's the last time we were up at 180? Okay, it's been a minute. Like on the 6th, we rejected 180. Again on the 7th, we couldn't break 180. The last time we were above 180 was on the 3rd, and we did get into that 182 and a half-ish area. So it's a bit of a recycled level. I don't want to say it's a recycled level. That's wrong. Because once we broke down below 180, we've been using it as resistance. So look at this. Again, the 6th, the 7th, all 180 rejections. But Tesla has a swag about it today that I haven't really seen in a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to stand in front of this monster. Let's watch what it does at 180 to see if it makes sense to short it at that level. But I'm cognizant, I'm aware, I am alive to the 180 level on TSLA. Guys, the market is up 1.4%, and Meta's down 0.25%, a third, and now Amazon is red. Goggles just went red. What is going on here? Such a mixed bag with these Mag 7 names. Like these Mag 7 names, almost their charts don't look anything similar to each other. They're all distinctly different today. Shout out to the OB, the one, the Cano. Make sure to let them know I want my money, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've, like, I was literally, you were here when I asked this morning. I said, what were the financial terms that you agreed upon? And everyone was laughing. And I was like, well, what are the financial terms? But yeah, funny times.
I don't know. Yeah, just let them know I want my money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, Apple, I mean, Apple's like at like 215. Like, I mean, I think that's, Apple did above and beyond what the, unspecified financial terms of your unspecified bet were. So yeah, no, I see that. Yeah, all jokes aside though, shout out.
Thank you.
Also, you know, like Apple we used to call the dead one, now it's the revived one. Yeah. Tesla is the Cybertruck. NVIDIA is the spicy one.
Ooh,
so you might be like, Adara, what does that mean? And Adara, if you think NVIDIA is a range, why aren't you trading it? Well, it's because NVIDIA, like I said, I still think we're coiled for something. I don't know what that something is. I don't know when that something is. I think it's a long though, and I know because I tend to go short, I want no part of this. I want absolutely none of this smoke. Unless I take it long off the bottom of 125.35. Now, Adara, like, why am I going on about this? Because I took that short here. I was proud of the short I took here, 125.69, but NVIDIA looked a lot weaker when I took that short. Now, we're really trying to cook. We're really trying to get heated there. I do think the range in NVIDIA right now, 125.70, risking up into 125.85. Bottom is 125.35. This comes from a combination of the book and the tape, in case you're and the chart, in case you're like, Adara, how'd you get these levels? And I thought we were gonna give this up because that push we had right here off that 125.35 was gorgeous. Then NVIDIA's like, Adara, I am still a range. I will still be ranging. What are you talking about? I just rejected 175.70 again, or 125.70 again. So I'm like, okay, I get it. But right now though, too, the thing we're doing now in NVIDIA that we weren't doing when I took that initial short is now we're pushing off the 90 MA. I don't feel 100% comfortable with this, which is why I'm not taking it. I'm sorry I'm not in any positions, guys, just trying to find stuff that I really like. The thing I really like might be NVIDIA, but it's not gonna be NVIDIA with this little confirmation when it's up 4% in the day, and it's also NVIDIA. We're not gonna be doing that until I see something I really enjoy. But you know what else we always really enjoy? I love that transition here. It's gonna be our pal Neil, who always has a lesson of the day.
Welcome. We got a lesson of the day for you here today. And if you, everyone here obviously watches the show, you watch the morning show and you watch all day long. So I always hope that you guys enjoy it. Every now and then you'll probably hear Sean and I start talking about sports or, you know, what games our kids were playing, or, you know, back in the day, we used to do this and that, play a little basketball, play a little baseball, or you know, maybe even just talking about what's going on in the NBA. And when we talk about trading oftentimes being a mental sport. And it's so true. Like if you think about any game or any professional sport, you have the set rules. They're the same every single day. The court is the same size, the rim's the same height, the ball's the same ball. Every day, two teams play against each other, and it can be different results, different game plan. It can play out. LeBron can score 50 one day, he'll score 20 the next. You just never really know, and it could be the same opponent. And it's that type of sort of intrigue and same but different feel that I think is so real to the markets as well. You're always trading the same stock. You might have the same fundamentals one day to another. There's bid, there's ask at the end of the day. So you know the rules of the game. You're using all the same gateways as well. I mean, your trading platform stays the same. The keys that you hit all stay the same. The rules of the market generally don't change from a day-to-day basis. So with all that, I think there's a lot that we can learn from sports, and this is why I'm going to get to a couple of lessons that are really important. Now, everybody has seen these clips recently of, when a football player, Deshaun Jackson, crosses the goal line, he drops the ball. Recently, there was a race walker at the European Championships who was in a 20-kilometer race. She was 5 meters from victory. I think it was actually 2 meters from victory in a 20-kilometer race. And then she had the Spanish flag draped and was smiling, ready to pump her fist, and got passed at the line after 20 kilometers, passed at the line because she lost focus for a split second in a trade. And that's a very important thing. Like, no matter how close you get to the end, you want to celebrate, everything is going perfectly, it can turn in a heartbeat. And that level of focus is very important. I want to give you an example of that here in real life in trading, and about why you might want to have stop orders, why you've got to have that lean forward action like when you're a gamer to be in the moment at all times, so you don't drop the ball at the goal line, so that you don't celebrate too early before you've crossed the finish line. And the example I'm going to use here is Rivian this morning. Obviously, it was trending to the upside. Everything was strong this morning, and you're going to see it clearly reverse that trend, gap up. Right at the open, it holds the pre-market bottoms, then it holds this open range top, then it breaks out that top and kind of bounces off of VWAP, holding a previous high. Like, it's doing everything you would want for an upward trending stock in an upward trending market. And then almost, I'm not calling it out of nowhere because I think you could sort of see it coming, right in and about here. It tries to make this another higher low, and I'll zoom back in so you can see it. It tries to make this higher low, push into the top, and wick rejection back into the bottom. Now, when I was long off this level, a lot of times I'll just be sitting there ready for our first entry pricing while we're going to take this trade back into that low. We're going to layer right into it, all that good stuff. I could have been all over VWAP. But the second I saw that, I'm like, tight stop. And you would have heard me say, tight stop underneath VWAP, underneath the 1225 level. Because there was that little wick candle, and then like a minute later, it runs VWAP, and that could be an extra 1% that you lose on the trade if you don't make that snap judgment. Everything about it was a calm and gentle, not worried about it, trend into the upside, higher lows, everything you want out of that trade. It's important though, like even if things are looking perfect, anticipate that they could turn on an absolute dime. And then if they do, at least you're ready for it. You know what, if it continues to go up and it trends higher lows and all that good stuff, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you were conservative and it worked out just fine. So who cares? The other thing that you've got to worry yourself with, you don't celebrate too early, stay in focus, stay in the moment, is one of the reasons why people will talk about Babe Ruth in baseball or Barry Bonds in baseball, what made them so great, all the home runs they hit. But actually that's not true. There's a statistic that they don't talk about in baseball because it's never really been tracked, and that's like the number of outs made. There is a stat called on base percentage. Watch Moneyball. That's what they're talking about in Moneyball. How many times a guy gets on base is the inverse of how many outs they make. Nobody in baseball keeps track of how many outs get made. But if you think about trying to score runs, you pay for those runs by the outs you make. And because baseball is my thing and most people are probably more interested in basketball, I'm going to say a name to you that no basketball fan watching this has any idea who Michael Adams is. You've never heard of him. But about 20 years ago, he had a magical season for I think it was the Denver Nuggets or Washington, doesn't really matter, where he was leading the league in assists. It was like 10 or 11 assists a game, dropping over 25 points a game. And he was absolutely atrocious. He was leading in everything. But all he did is take a ridiculous amount more shots, lead the entire offense. The team didn't win anymore because he was not only a bad shooter, he was one of the worst shooters in the league. He was shooting under 40% from the field. He was shooting under 30% from the line. It was absolutely insane. The guy would chuck up a league-leading number of three-pointers. And so the cost of the points and assists he was getting was double his turnovers, was an atrocious shooting percentage, horrible efficiency, and a lot of losses for his team. The guy dropped by 40% the amount of points he scored the next year and made an all-star team. Why? Because he got himself more efficient. We always talk about make sure you have the good risk to reward. Ensure that you are enabling yourself not just to succeed in the short term, but succeed in the long term. And the way that you do that is by being efficient with your trades. And that can mean a lot of things for different people. Now, the example I'm going to use here is a trade that I'm out of that could have been great. But ultimately, I'm not still in this bounce in NVIDIA. And for some people, efficiency can be as simple as, okay, well, hold on to your winners longer. For others, for myself, it is always about what is the cost of the trade if it doesn't work for me. So in this case, NVIDIA, clean breakout trade, we scalp into the first dollar, we hold into the next level. Scalp, hold big. When it pulls into VWAP, the other side of the manner in which I'm trading, which is taking this breakout and giving it a very, very tight stop, I was risking about 25 cents on a 125 break. I'm going to do the same thing on the way back in here. And when you think about this, it's like win big, lose small can matter. But if you're going to do that, you're going to give something up. There's a cost to be paid for that level of efficiency. And that's going to mean you're going to get whipped out of entries. You're not going to get filled on those entries. The same way that basketball player, that Michael Adams guy, for his efficiency, he had to pay the cost of going from 26 points a game to 17 points a game and not being a league leader. But it meant he made an all-star team, and it meant his team won more games. And so you had got to be willing to do whatever it takes to be more efficient. Get wicked out at the bottom. Live with it. Because if you do something, which when it works is great and gigantic, but the cost that you pay for it is even bigger, then there's no point to doing it. And I've had this conversation with multiple traders before. The first and most important step to longevity in trading is eliminating big hits. No question about it. The big losses are going to be a bigger deal to your P&L than anything. And I've seen it over 20 years, time in, time out. It just continues to hold true. If you get yourself more efficient at eliminating the big losses, you will find your way into those big wins. Because you look at the charts long enough, if you're dedicated to it, you're going to find good patterns, especially if you're diligent, passionate about trading. You will find good levels. We can all see this 125 on NVIDIA. But I'm going to give up some of these and look like a tool when I'm out on VWAP so I can be more efficient and be up 8, 9 days out of 10. That's myself. You find what works for you. Some traders might be you only want to be up 55% of the time and you're holding much, much bigger winners for a lot longer. But it doesn't matter as long as you are efficient. As long as what you pay for that winning trade in losses is not too much. You never want to be on the other end of that stick where, yeah, you're leading the league in strikeouts, but you're not actually leading the league in home runs, right? I can name a bunch of guys you've never heard of that fall into that category, but I'm not going to bother Rob Deere. He was one of those dudes. So it's all about what you pay, and I have to give I was going to use the example of Joe Carter being a Toronto Blue Jays fan because he hit the home run that sent us to a World Series championship, the walk-off home run. Touch 'em all, Joe. He's considered by many to be a fantastic Blue Jay player. Joe Carter would routinely lead the league, and as a Jays fan, it hurts to say this. He would routinely lead the league or be among the league leaders in outs made and might be one of the most overrated players that ever existed. He put up great numbers because you sat him in the middle of a lineup and therefore he'd run into a bunch of RBIs. But he actually was maybe the 4th or 5th best right fielder we ever had. That's the reality of the situation. They'd have been a better team if he had hit 6th or 7th. It's just a fact. And I hate to say it, but in this business, facts matter. The reality is it only matters taking more shots if you're more efficient at making them. And that player I mentioned, that Michael Adams, you go look him up. The guy took, it was like 40% more threes one year to the other to get more points. He went from a 36% shooter to a 29% shooter. And they let him shoot more all year. He dropped back down and made an all-star team the next year. It's all true. It's all real. The price you pay for a trade is the amount that you lose if it goes wrong. So when you deploy a strategy, make sure that is a reasonable amount. And even more important than that is the first part of that lesson of the day. Stay focused. The game is not over till you're out of the trade and looking for the next one. I don't care if it's trending up. Ask yourself, what happens if it holds down on me? What happens if it makes a turn? Where am I going to get out of the trade? What will mean I'm wrong? Do I need to trail it? Do I need to increase my price target? Do I need to lower my price target? You're always looking to make that next decision. Do not celebrate till you've crossed that finish line. I hate seeing it in football. I hate seeing it in track and field. But the truth is, everybody knows that lesson, and you see it on SportsCenter or whatever highlight or TikTok all the time, because we're human beings and we're going to continue to make those mistakes. And your lesson of the day is to be diligent and try to reduce them to zero as close as possible. You will never be perfect, but you can always strive to be better. There's your lesson of the day.
Who's got goosebumps?
That was crazy.
No, seriously though.
Yeah,
seriously. Shout out to Neil, man, dropping absolute hotlines on the midday. Neil's lesson of the day every day around noon hour. If you like stuff like that, and I know I do, make sure you're around every day around noon hour. Thank you very much for that, Neil. All right, while he was dropping hotlines, I took a quick scalp on Tesla for like 20 pennies. I fat fingered here though. I didn't mean to get the entire thing out, Ram. As we dipped into 179, but maybe it's a good thing that I did, because it did end up breaking 179. Now I'm looking for essentially a 177.5 dip. I'm looking for this consolidation area top. If we make it down here on Tesla, we definitely had issues with 177.5, and I'm not really sure why, nor do I care. I just know that it was a price area top that we finally broke at around, half after the hour at 11:30. And so if we make it back down there, I will be looking to go long. I want to tell you about a trade that I didn't do well on, and it was Reddit. It was while Neil was dropping hotlines. I tried to get a VWAP, and this is why, I hate breaking my own rules, but I always say, if it's not respecting VWAP on the day, if it hasn't shown you the propensity to respect a level, why are you using it? And I have to say that, I have to remind myself that, because I got in Reddit here for a VWAP dip. I had a resting order, and you saw what happened. Had no respect for the indicator. It doesn't feature today. It hasn't featured today. And so that's a bit on me. Now, with respect to Reddit though, I do like this price action top that we put in here before whatever reason we started pumping at 11:15. I still have no idea why this volume came in. It was aggressive volume. We do have a consolidation area top at here at 64 1/3. So if we make it back into 64 1/3, I want to know about it. Hence, I'm putting, an alert at the $0.50 so I can kind of foresee the move coming a little bit and have notice of it. So that's a look there. No other trades for me at the moment, but I do want to talk about some of these Mag 7, just do some quick observations. Market very consolidated, but holding 19.5. You can see that the bottoming, we have not bottoming tails, but we're defending definitely 19.5. You can tell, but keep in mind that we are making lower highs. So that could be foreshadowing something for maybe a 500 break. We'll see. I'm not going to be calling that, obviously, but yeah, 19.5 on that. Goggles is at day low. It's now in the negative, a fifth of a point. It's at that 176-ish area at the $0.25 right now. Pivots on Google at exactly 176. The closing print from yesterday, 176.60. We had some support there earlier, but now that's given way. Softy, we were yelling about Softy earlier because I was pleased with this trade. It's now kind of become a little consolidated for the past 25 minutes. As you can see, it's become very range bound now, touching the 20. I want to see exactly what it does here. Does it break the 20 and make it down possibly into VWAP, because it hasn't broken the 20 this afternoon. So we'll keep eyes on MSFT. You can see the weakness in Amazon and in Meta. They're definitely both weaker on the day. I'm alive to the possibility of a double bottom here on Amazon. We have a trough over here into 168.5, and then this one comes into 168.75. So it could be a skewed double bottom with, bulls buying a bit more aggressively on the right side of the W. So I could be very interested here in riding this to the top side. If I was to get in here, I'd definitely be wetting my beak into that 187 and a fifth, 187 and a quarter, because that's where yesterday's closing print is on AMZN. So looking at these names, obviously the dead one, not the dead one, the zombie, the revived one is still alive, guys, and it's at 216 off highs, $2 off highs right now, breaking down below the 20. That's the first time it's been below the 20. Eyes on Apple here as it could mean revert, right? A lot of this is going to be, you know, it's like NVIDIA. We kept seeing NVIDIA have umpteen amounts of volatility every day, and then it always seems to end up higher somehow. So we'll see if Apple can kind of follow that same suit. No trades for me on at the moment. I'm not liking anything I see at the moment, but we'll continue to scan these markets. Oh, Reddit, you don't say. No, Reddit.
No.
Why, Reddit? Why? I had the right idea there, just poor execution. It does generally hold that VWAP area and then right back into the top. I suck. All right, let me just get to some of the chats here because we have an $11 Canadian super chat from Mr. Bill. Love you guys. Please never change. I'm a voiceover impressionist. Would love to do something for you guys at Halloween Xmas. I'm a professional audio Santa. Keep watching us with us, Mr. Bill. We often, you know, sometimes we collab with some of the viewers. So stick around. Who knows what could happen. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. 1320 Wolf, probably pulling back for an FOMC announcement. Very possible. I'm surprised that we're up a percent and a third. I'm not kind of surprised because CPI came in a little bit lighter, but I thought, you know, if CPI came in line, we would be very consolidative until Papa got on the mic at 2:30. Who knows? Jay Lee, Adara, Sharif, TSLL was a short at 777 just a few minutes ago. You're kidding. Interesting. That's a good look number there. And then we also have a couple of comments from Anthony Kerr. Any thoughts on what we can expect from the market for FOMC? Widely expected that we stay put with respect to rates, but everybody is now talking about a September rate cut. We'll see if that comes in. Longeveron, no, are you kidding? LGVN is moving? It is. It's up 85%, Neil. LGVN is moving. It's up 87%. Longeveron is back. Thank you, Scott, for bringing that to my attention. I had no eyes on that. There it is. It just printed high day RAM 155 HOD on LGVN. This is a former runner. This has run multiple times in the past. Here it is. Longeveron shares are trading higher as traders circulate a Zacks small cap research report on the company with a $15.10 price valuation. That's a what? Adara, you're good at math. So 15.10, we're at $1.50. What is that? 1,000%? 10,000? It's 1,000%. No, huh? 15? Yeah, look at that, Neil. Look at the screen. 15.10. It's exactly 1,000%. Yeah, there you go. What are the odds? So 1,000% upside here, guys. Not financial advice. I'm not the one saying it, so don't come at me. I just want to show you guys that this is a former runner in the past, so we can kind of gauge resistance. Definitely resistance with the 50. Even the days where it has these outsized moves, they seem to reject off the 50. So eyes on the 50 here. Where are we relative to the 50? The 50 is a skosh above $2. So I expect $2 resistance today on LGVN. Let's see if we get that. Let's see if I'm out to lunch or not.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the only type of lunch you're out to is the food you eat. So shout out to lunch. Where did that go? I don't know. Also, yeah, I want to shout out, there's another super chat here as well. Reed Zaydan, not seeing a message here, but thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. Let us know if there's any message or something that you have for us there. And yeah, I do want to shout out Neil's lesson of the day. That was awesome. That was something I definitely took a lot from. And I think it was good to hear because like you don't want to commit yourself to ideas that don't make sense for you. Case in point, words, Adara. This NVIDIA long. I got out of this, took a couple pennies. You might be like, Adara, what was the point in even getting in this? Like I said, it's like if I don't feel comfortable in a trade, I just need to get out of it. So that's what I did here. Of course, you know, I don't even think it actually went up that much more. Like I think on my side chart, it looked like it went that much higher. I think the highest we got was like 68. 12.68, so like another 10 pennies. Yeah, moral of the story is like you do have to commit to yourself, and I think you can like just because you don't have whatever amazing aspect of your career doesn't mean you don't have other opportunities. And I think kind of what I took from Neil's lesson as well, making sure that you don't celebrate too early. And so that I think is really key, which is also why, you know, sometimes you got to take those profits and run for the hills. Also, Tesla, this short Was it successful? No, but I am proud of how I handled it, so I want to chat about it. I liked this short in theory. We were below the 90 EMA. We had this beautiful little topping tail candle into 179. We had this gorgeous little chop and churn area, also at 179. I said, Adara, you can scalp this for probably like 20 pennies. And Tesla said, no, Adara, you could not. It made me wait, though. I got involved at 179.72s, was risking into 179. 178.72 is risking into 179. And yeah, I mean, we lost, happy with how I managed it. I was going to take the long off 179, but I said, Adara, if you're taking that at this point, it's really just as a revenge trade. You don't feel it as strongly about it as you did at the short, so stay away from it. So I did. That being said, Tesla, if you give me another topping tail at set 179, you know I'm going to go take short. Yeah, Tesla, that's not a threat. That's a promise and a threat. So there we go. That's all I've really been looking at there.
She's threatening Tesla, Neil. I love it. I love it. And I'm long Tesla right now, too. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
good.
yeah, I'm not good
like,
at
I know,
Tesla.
like there's nothing that I can say to Tesla that's going to convince it. I don't know what your kind of powers are, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming, you know.
Ramin does have power.
Ram
She said,
wants
"Let
to
me
talk to Tesla. All right, I like it. Ram, look, you know, she's looking at it one way, I'm looking at it another. I'm about to get stopped out, but I did wet my beak. So I did take out profits at the 40, but I'm going to have to get out here, and there it is. So now I'm out of the position for the remaining amount. So it looks like Adara was right there. I'm going to be looking for a 178.50 flat bottom. If we can get that, I'll be looking short. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I am actually looking short here on Tesla. I mean, I know I already said that, but then I had my move I wanted. But I don't want to like hop into this and then have Tesla recover, because we call this Tesla for a reason, and that's because it tends to behave stressfully. So I want to be cognizant of that. For sure. That being said, right now, Tesla, even if you give me like that 178.80 to 179, again, I need to stop talking to the stock. If Tesla, I'll talk people. If Tesla gives me that 178.80 to 179 area decisively, I have no qualms about playing that range. Right now, though, I do think it's just a short here. And this failure that we had again to take 179, I like this. We're going to do 178.98. We're going to risk into that level, that 179.20, because I like that long area entry that the mustachioed man to my right, Sharif, had. Speaking of Sharif and his mustache, you unfortunately cannot vote for Stash or any other tickers today, because we have another man to watch, and his name is Jerome Powell. And he'll be coming on at 2:30, and he and his peers at the FOMC will be having their rate decision come out. So they definitely, they will be taking precedent because they are the FOMC peeps. But don't worry, there will be voting tomorrow. There is just no voting at this current juncture because FOMC time. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, yeah, unfortunately, the C in FOMC does not stand for Sharif standing at the green screen with his mustache.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do, obviously, the afternoon rundown where you have your say every day. Today, FOMC widely expected to be a rate hold, but the wild card will be when Powell gets on the mic and starts giving us those dynamic aspects that we hadn't expected. We'll hear about what he thinks about the last job report. I'm sure he's going to be commenting about CPI today. Nary is there a time where CPI and FOMC decision day are both on the same day. So big day today, I would say, for the FOMC meeting, and one I'll be all ears about. So we'll keep tabs on that. I loaded up Amazon here. Look, I've been really interested in going long on Amazon here, Ramram, because of this double bottom, but we are now below 19.5 on the future. So if we start curling back down here on the future, do I really feel that Amazon, that's down 0.5%, is going to start going up? So I'm hesitant to get in, but then I also know that there's not much space and distance between the current price action and this area low. So if I get in here, I'm risking about 20 pennies for the low break. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going long here on the Zon, and my break is going to be my stop is going to be the break of 170. So let's go 186.68, and then we'll cover the entire position at 60. So we'll give this one a little bit of room to the high side here. We'll see if it can take that 187 area. I'll wait at like 15s or something like that. It's got to be worth my while to want to get long into this. It's down 1.5%, but I'm just feeling like it's finding support at this level. Call me crazy, but we'll see what we get. Also, Meta has a bit of a dalliance today with VWAP. Look at this VWAP rejection over here. Beautiful. At around half past the hour, 11:25, and now it's making its way right back into that 508 1/4. So interesting look here on Meta, but be careful because incrementally it's putting in those higher lows. So we could get that push through VWAP and a squeeze back up. Look how Meta started the morning. I mean, that was a beautiful CPI print that it got up to 516 and then just Christmas treed all the way down. So kind of an interesting look here. I don't know. I'll be looking at VWAP to see exactly what it does at those levels. All right, go Amazon. All right, Amazon. I like that. We'll take out some here on the Zon just to de-risk a little bit, and then we'll let the rest go there. So nice 20 penny winner so far on AMZN. Let's see if we can get a bit more right there.
Yeah, I just took a cool 5 pennies out here on the spot. No, it's not a brag. It's thank you. I appreciate the woo. I know what I've noticed is SPY will bounce off VWAP, but it'll still like give you the levels you need. Like if you're going to take it into VWAP, that has not been a problem. When I say you, I mean me. I've been scalping the SPY kind of on and off all morning. We have a bit of like a love-hate relationship. I love to get involved in the SPYs. Like I don't really know. No, I'm joking. I think am I profitable? Yeah, I'm actually profitable in all these trades. A lot of them were like teeny tiny penny scalps, but like I said, with the SPY, that is just how I'm going to be trading. With everything, generally, that's how I'm trying to be trading. I'm definitely trying to be in a bit more of a scalping mood here for a good time, not a long time, and with tight risk management. So SPY, if you break above 542.80, you know I'm going to have to say bye, because we're not going to be in sync anymore. But I would love to be in sync with you here. Hopefully SPY says Timberlake to the downside to just, I guess, make a pun about a member of NSYNC, because why not? Hopefully we have this continued move here on the SPY. I got involved because I noticed, A, we have this continued downtrend. B, we were really struggling with 542.70 at the time. That's why I got involved at that level. SPY going to break lower. I will get out here. Why not? So there we go. Took 13 pennies on the rest of my SPY position if this order goes through, because you don't want to celebrate before that has hit. That was Neil's lesson of the day, and I definitely stay true to that. But now I indeed can clap and be pleased as punch. SPY broke lower. Also, yeah, so I was in that Tesla short, which I want to talk about because I took like my 14 pennies there, 15 pennies. I took this because I still, like, and congrats on your long, because I know you took some profit there. But my thing with Tesla is I was like, it is Tesla, and the fact that it can't break below 178.80s gave me no confidence in a longer term short. So I said, Adara, just, you've seen this 15 penny range, just take your 15 pennies and skedaddle, and that is what I did. Tesla trying to break higher here. If we have another 179.20 area, again, shout out to Sharif. If that area comes in again, though, it could be an interesting short. I think Tesla right now, though, is definitely the little teeny tiny range. Meta's also kind of rangy here, in my opinion. I see what you mean about VWAP. I think this VWAP rejection again could get a little bit interesting. Yeah, I was going to take that long. It really just wasn't my type of trade, but pardon?
It just literally rejected.
It did.
It dropped $1. Like, no, it dropped 50 cents. No, almost $1. 75 cents. Okay, I can do math, guys, I promise. 508.25 is where VWAP was, and it dipped down into 507.5. So there you go, 75 cents, super quick. But look at this, Amazon coming right back into my level after printing on that nice move up. It moved all the way up into 17s. So we were nicely like 30 pennies in the money, but this one looks like it's rejecting off the 10. So I'm trying to pack my patience. I know the low end of the consolidation range is 70, but I see that we're below now 19.5 on the future. I don't want to paper hand this trade. I get it. It's off the lows. I should pack my patience. Yeah, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. If it moves back up, it moves back up. It's making higher lows, so I shouldn't be getting out here. If I'm looking at it objectively, the higher lows are, yeah. All right, Longeveron, shout out to Scott H. Him and I going back and forth about this one. This one made a big boy move into that $1.80, but I see a bit of a consolidation area top here at a $1.45. But unlikely really to be that $1.45, maybe that $1.50. So I'm front running a $1.50. I'm sitting here at 153, Scott. So let's see if I get the print. My line in the sand is going to be a $1.40, even though I don't. See, the $1.40 looks like it's the actual top, Scott. Look at the majority of the prints are all at that $1.40. So look at $1.45. It's a bit of a bamboozler. I'm going to have to give this one room. It's up almost 100%. So I'm going to have to give it room. Yeah, I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it to $1.40 if I get printed at 153. I think I'm front running it here because my frugality has got me in trouble before, where I've tried to get a better price and then don't get printed. So it's a bit of a frustrating endeavor. Anyway, back to AMZN. Nothing really happening there. Oh, the soft one now, though. Okay, so this could be now the winds of change are coming. All right, so it's time here possibly to get out of this Amazon position. The soft one is breaking the 20 period on the 5 decisively. It has not done that with the umpteen amount of lower highs and lower lows. If this doesn't claim the 20 period right away, I'm going to short Microsoft here, at least possibly in the VWAP at 437 1/3, a quarter, something in and around that level. It looks as if the market may be turning here. Not by much, though. Not by much. We're only about 7 points below 500. But yeah, I don't want any of the smoke for any of the longs here on the Mag 7 if the market's going to start turning down like this. So packing my patience. We'll see exactly what we get here. But I'm looking short at the moment.
I agree. And I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I should have been more confident in this AMD trade. I like the short. Look at this 9 EMA rejection that we had a couple times here. I was like, dare I get involved at 161 and risk into 161.12? But I didn't because I did not like how quickly we pushed up into that 161. I said, are you sure? And then look where we reject, 161.12. I would have been fine. I was too scared to take it. By the time I was trying to punch in, AMD drops 20 pennies. I can be happy the idea was right, but I can be a little bit displeased as punch that I was not able to take it properly. That being said, AMD, you want to reject 9 EMA again? Holler at me. I will be getting involved in this trade. Also, its chip cousin, NVIDIA, is interesting. I don't like this as a long, but I think if there were to be a Mag 7 long right now, its name might be NVDA. Why, you may ask? Because NVIDIA has slightly higher highs, definitely slightly on a chart basis, mostly on a book basis. Initially, our high was like 125.80s. Now we're getting to 125.90s, which for me, as someone who is trying to do more tape scalping, that is a higher high. Also, we had this really gorgeous bullish candle here pushing into that 125.55, which is also a level I've been using on NVIDIA, bouncing off the 9 EMA. I think if there is a long on the Mag 7, it's NVIDIA. It's not one that I'm going to take. It's not my style. But you know what is also not my style that I do still kind of want to take is this meta short. Adara, don't do this. Well, I think it's a good look, to be clear. I want to, shout out Sharif for calling this out as well, because we do have all of these failed wicks into VWAP and the 508. There's a couple of reasons I don't like it, though. The spread is still meta. It's like 12 cents, which is not bad, but it's not really what I feel like doing right now. My other reason is, sure, we do have these rejections here of VWAP, but these candles are kind of on an upward trajectory. Exactly. We're bouncing off the 9 EMA. As Sharif said, here with chart patterns, you have to look at the balance of the evidence. And I think for me, the balance of the evidence is telling me do not short meta. So I'm not going to short meta. AMD, if you want to, AMD's knocking at my AM door again here, coming back into that level I like. Don't mind if I do. I do mind that we're bouncing off VWAP. I dislike that a lot. But I think, again, balance of the evidence, lower highs, lower lows, AMD, here we go. How are you doing? Good. I'm putting in a dip trade on Apple at VWAP. I think there's going to be a lot of institutional trading on this, repositioning into this. So we know how institutions deal with VWAP. So VWAP on my chart on Apple is at 214.30. So I'm going to sit at 50s or 60s to front run it. That's what I'm doing on AAPL. I'm not going to get long anywhere here unless I see something to do with VWAP. The reason I'm kind of confident in this VWAP level is just because we know what these big money players are going to do. They're going to judge their traders based on the price they have for Apple relative to what the volume weighted average price is. And, if they have a better price than what the VWAP is at the closing print, they get the check mark beside their name. If they don't, they get a frowny face. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually pans out today. But I'm looking for a VWAP dip on Apple. I'm still holding my Amazon trade, and I'm kind of happy I didn't get out of this super quick because it's right back in the money again. So it did hold that 80 penny level. And in fact, I moved up my stop from 68 to 78 because I felt that the real level there, at least it appeared on the 1 minute, was 186.80. And so we'll see if we can get that continuity back. I'm gunning for VWAP. I'd like 187.50, something like that, 187.40. I don't think I'll be as frugal or as greedy as maybe VWAP. Maybe I'll scalp it out before that. But anyway, good look there on Amazon. Didn't stop me out on that
hopefully double bottom long. That's really kind of what the move is here. I agree with Adara with respect to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is making incrementally higher highs. It's absolutely hugging the 20. Take your pick, the 10 or the 20 here. And now we're breaking through that 126. 126 has been a local resistance area ever since around 1050 when we broke down below it. You'll see this consolidative area here from 1055 till 1242. It's currently right now. We have not been able to close above 126. Kind of a random area. I figured 125 would be more of a nice little round area there, but 126 on the day, bit of a resistance level. But look at the Cybertruck. It's right back to holding the 10 period. It didn't even make its way back into that 20 period, but I think that 180 level is still acting as that level of resistance, and it did on the 6th, it did on the 7th, or was it the 5th and 6th? Let's find out. Let's go to the 4 hour. Here, I literally just had it the other day. 180, yes. So on May 30th, we had trouble with it. Again, June 3rd, we had trouble with it. We had trouble with it again on June 6th and again on June 7th. We were able to get above it on June 3rd and May 30th, but look where the closing prints are, dude, or whoever. Look at what below 179. So I know for a fact that 180 has been a hard row to hoe here for TSLA. And even the day, May 21st and May 22nd, when we did break above 180 decisively, look how quickly, it was a Christmas tree retracement. We broke right below it. So we haven't been above 180 decisively since, I would say, what's this day over here? Early May, man, dang. May 7th was the last time we were decisively, guys. I'm going to write off May 21st and May 22nd because you immediately retraced. So interesting. So 180, a legitimate level here on TSLA. Go Amazon, you punk. All right, nicely here into that 187.15. We're long 91s. Let's see if we can get something in the 40s. I really want something in the, I know for a fact that the closing print on the ZON is $0.25. Oh. So that's the thing. And that's why we rejected last time, because we got into that $0.25 range. And here we are again near the $0.25. And here we are again rejecting off that level. So the closing print on the ZON from yesterday acting as a local area of resistance, at least since we broke down below the $0.25. So, you know, maybe I should stop wishing and start exiting. We'll see here exactly what we get on these levels of down.
Yeah, congrats to you on Amazon. Also, I have a very serious question that I don't think has ever been asked here at this desk. What makes a stock a punk? Because there's certain stocks who call punks, and I'm like, I just want to know what stocks get punk status, how they get punks. How do you're like going through it over here. I feel like I set something off.
It's a very serious question.
It is.
Very serious.
Thank you for taking it with the seriousness that it deserves.
Any stock that does not allow me to print.
That qualifies it for punk status.
Yeah, talk about delusional. In all seriousness, you know, we're joking on this show. We got to talk for 3 hours, you know what I mean? So we're going to say some stuff that sounds maybe a little bit outlandish, but that's the modus operandi up in this desk. So
it is.
I'm looking for an exit. I'm going to exit at the $0.05 of a dollar because I've kind of had it with this area acting as a area top, and you can see over here it definitely had trouble with this area again. So I put the beak wetter already there. Now, Apple, not going to print me. Doesn't look like it's going to print me. It did its darndest, I guess. I mean, there's just too many people buying south of 215. Look at this. It could not close below 215. And up we go again. There were quick wicks south of 215, not by much. 214.86 was that wick. And there was only one 5-minute candle that actually wicked below 215. Up we go again. 216 now being broken again on the revived one, or the zombie, on AAPL, right back up. We'll see if we can get it. The soft one too, I was just talking about this one. The winds have changed, this, that, and the other. Sounding awfully poetic, but just a load of poo-poo, because it's right back up again, Adara. Bottoming tail candles through the 20 period. No respect here for the 20 period and the 10 period, at least right now for Microsoft, so I'm less inclined to want to base anything off them. But yeah, good recovery there for MSFT to the high side.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, we have the lesson. I totally forgot about that. You go ahead and I'll set up.
Nice look there for Microsoft. Also, Amazon. Michael Moore saying apparently there's like a cup and handle as well in the 15-second for Microsoft. So that sounds like a nice look for the long there as well. So hopefully Amazon is no longer a punk. And, it goes in the right ways, though. So that's all we really want over here. Gives you that express delivery of that profit. And is not a punk that steals your Amazon package from your doorstep. Also, I want to talk about GME, because we haven't looked at GME for a while. And I mean, GameStop believing, it does not want to stop. GameStop does not want to stop. The journey, pun intended, for GameStop, though, has had a little bit of a pause. And I want to talk about it. So I will. So look at all these little areas here that we hung out around that 3080 once. We do it again, chop and turn, whoop. Now again, we've just been chilling around that 3080, now we're 31. I don't know why I think 3080 could be level. I think this could be support. We've already ranged it a little bit here. I think if we break above that 3120, that could certainly be a nice look. But since we made the top of 3360s, we've had lower highs, lower lows, and a 90 EMA rejection. I think breaking above the 90 EMA would be the first step. Second step for me is going to be breaking above that 3120 and then into that 3160, that chop and turn area we had earlier. Right now, though, GME is a little bit stuck below its VWAP. It cannot see the moon from here. It's under a rock. But I think if it breaks above that 90 EMA and VWAP and all these other kind of levels, that could be an interesting look here for GME. I also want to talk about AMD, because I was not calling AMD a punk, but I was kind of down there. And I was more because I was mad at myself, because I liked that short, but I didn't take it for whatever reason. Actually, in retrospect, I know why I didn't take it. I stand by waiting for more confirmation. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think I should have been a little bit faster with it. But then I saw I had an opportunity. I said, Adara, get short. So this was a planned addition. I had this, that was part of how I built the trade. The plan was to start the trade at 160.90s, add if we got to 161s. That went according to plan. The stop was going to be the same level I liked, 161.11s. So I was okay with that. That would have been about risking about 15 pennies with, I think, the average position. So that's not something I have a problem with. So then I get out, part of the position, planned 160.80s. Okay, cool. Then I waited. What I wanted was a 160.70 break. It took sweet time to break that 160.80, but once it did, I was like, okay, I got about I think 160.70s even, so please just punch with that. If we keep seeing lower highs on this 90 EMA rejection, much like I was trying to do with the SPY earlier and a little bit with the IWM, I will just be shorting the pops. Francisco Infante, thank you very much for the 199 super chat. Long an Airbnb, question mark? Yeah, let's take a look at Airbnb and see how that's going. Okay, I'm gonna look at the daily for you. I have to say, on the intraday, I do not know how I feel about a long on this. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart. Volume is not substantial. We're below 2 million shares in volume. My bigger thing, though, is in addition to the volume, look at this chart pattern. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower lows. And look at all these topping tail candles. Honestly, I have to say, Francisco, this is not a very bullish chart to me because of the lower highs that we've had incrementally. We've been failing to break above VWAP for a little bit here. There's these topping tail candles. This is not, to me, an extremely bullish case. I want to look at the daily chart, though, because maybe the daily, okay. The daily on Airbnb, oh, that's the monthly. Okay, let's okay, the daily is, again, not something I'm crazy excited about, but it is less hairy looking to me. I think the intraday is definitely a short story. Accidental pun. But Airbnb, I like that we're bouncing off the 90 EMA here on the daily chart. I do like that we have this clear support at 140, which was also resistance going back to January. That's not a bad look to me at all. So I think this could be a nice look here for Airbnb for the long, potentially on a longer term. Intraday, however, I have to say it again, not advice, just my take on the chart. We just got another topping tail candle as I was yapping. I have to say, I think this is a bit of a short. But you know what you should never short is the Freedom and Wealth podcast.
No.
Go long Freedom and Wealth.
Ram, am I allowed to show this? There is the Brendo doing his thing. I just want to show some more of these. Yeah, it's okay, Ram. I'm just going to go through them. There's nothing there for anybody to see. This is, guys, I mean, you have no idea how long Mark was working on this. It is one hell of a room. I've been in it. It's very impressive. This is the Chilean Nightmares little pictures there. You can't see the entire thing. You can't see the umpteen amount of computers and equipment that they have on the other side of that. So, here's a bit of a look at it. That's Fabian's view there. Fabian is recording the podcast right now with the big kahunas, and then we got Rams on the ones and twos here. So shout out to the Freedom and Wealth podcast. If you are not subscribed to that, please go right now. There's the QR code. It's right there. It says scan me, Adara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
There it is. Look at Brendan's lurking behind Sean.
There you go.
Brendan and Sean.
Yeah. I don't know why, but Brendo looks like he's creeping up behind Sean.
It's like a criminal mind. I'm joking. But check it out. This is a really fun, it's a bit of a different vibe. It's like a behind the scenes vibe of the show. And it gives you both freedom.
All right.
Well, so why not?
Let's get to the lesson of the day, guys. We are talking about the expanding triangles today. And these ones, much like these markets, are bamboozlers. Because sometimes they act as continuation patterns. Other times they're like, nah, I'm going to be a reversal pattern today. So let's get to it. Expanding triangles, or broadening formations, as they're sometimes called, are unique patterns that can signal either a continuation of the prevailing trend or a potential reversal. They occur when the market is experiencing heightened disagreement amongst investors over the appropriate price of a security over a short period of time. Buyers become increasingly willing to buy at higher prices, while sellers find even more motivation to take profits. This creates a series of higher interim peaks in the price and lower interim lows. Essentially, higher highs but lower lows. So kind of like a megaphone, right? When connecting these highs and lows, the trend line forms a widening pattern that kind of looks like a megaphone. I should have held off with that megaphone explanation there. It's all good there. All right, so understanding these triangle patterns. Let's talk about the diverging trend lines, because that's what these ones are kind of known by. That's what they're characteristic of. The two lines that are moving away from each other. So unlike the symmetrical or the ascending or the descending triangle that converge, have lines that are converging, expanding triangles have diverging trend lines. The price action creates higher highs and lower lows within the triangle, with each swing exceeding the previous one. And here's a look. So that there's a bearish one, and it's only bearish not because of the pattern, it's because you've got to break through the bottom trend line, while the bullish one is bullish, again, not because of the pattern, they're identical, but because you've got a break of the upper trend line. So why are these guys relevant? Well, they give you an idea of what may come. Again, they're bamboozlers because they could be continuation or reversal, but there are some signs that we could help look for to figure out whether the continuation or reversal. We'll get to those in a second. And they're important because they're characteristic of market sentiment. These diverging trend lines, these aren't just lines on the chart. These are not just candlestick patterns that are showing up randomly. They are reflecting market sentiment. As I explained in the intro, in the prologue, it was basically buyers becoming more exuberant, but also sellers becoming more exuberant. That's market disequilibrium, in my opinion. So it's a bit of a state of flux. So how do you identify these expanding trend lines? Well, obviously, you're looking for a trend, right? You want to see if a trend precedes them, because if they do form subsequent to a trend, the chances are that they continue that trend. However, if they form in a consolidative area, it's take your guess. And obviously, identifying them by their most distinct characteristic. Oh, 150 absolutely held on long. Jevron, I'm such an idiot for not getting that. Sorry, I have to digress. This is more important.
What a level.
Yeah, man, unreal. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm gonna get long here, and say again, Neil? Yeah, I'm getting long on Longeveron here, and I'm gonna give it to the break of, I'm gonna have to give it room because I won't be able to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it, I'm gonna have to give it space in case it goes nuts. Now, sorry about that digressing, guys. So identifying these, super simple. Look for a trend, obviously that's an optional one, and look for the diverging trend lines. Draw trend lines along the peaks and the troughs of the price swings. These trend lines should be diverging, so they should be moving away from each other, meaning they'll move farther and farther apart as the pattern unfolds. So as a trend continuation pattern, here's what to look for. The breakout direction. So a breakout above the trend, above the upper trend line is a bullish continuation, or below the lower trend line, that's a bearish continuation. It's suggesting the trend might resume. But be careful for fake out breakouts or fake out breakdowns. So one way to avoid those, or to try to, help prevent against them, is by looking for volume confirmation. So if you get a break above the upper trend line or below the lower trend line, is it being accompanied by above average volume? And above average here will be compared to the volume that's printed on the bars within the triangle. So you're making like for like comparisons. And then your target projection. These are so good for target projections because essentially the measured height of the triangle from the peak to the opposing trough can be projected upwards or downwards to estimate a potential target. So before I show you, I just want to show you what it looks like when it's a continuation pattern. So you'll see that we were descending before we got locked into this megaphone pattern. So what ended up happening is it continued the trend down. And then you've got a decided breakout through that lower trend line. So that's what it looks like as a continuation formation. With respect to target projection, look at this. So you're measuring from the top of the triangle, will be around 280 over here, the price, and then 260 is the bottom. So you know there's about $20 worth of room. So you project from the breakdown area. In this case, it broke down below the below the lower trend line. So you're projecting from the breakdown area $20 downwards. So that's a 264 breakdown. You project to 244 here, clearly past 244, but you would have wet your beak. Right? You would have gotten out with some profits there. So it's great for target projection as well. Now, with respect to its use as a reversal pattern, here's what you're looking for. You're looking for exhaustion of the trend. Okay, I got to wet my beak on some profits here. I'm sorry. 10 pennies in the money on Longeveron. We're going to take that one real quick. I would have done better, Adara, if I had stuck to my original 150. I don't know why I did. I'm hitting the bang button because Neil just punned. I love it. Yeah.
He punned hard.
He punned. It ain't short Jeveron, baby. It's long Jeveron because it's up 101%. Shout out to the Neil. That was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. So we wet our beak on some profits there, and we're going to let the other part roll. So exhaustion of the trend here with respect to it acting as a reversal pattern. The expanding price swings can indicate underlying buying and selling pressure is weakening, potentially leading to a reversal. And you also need to be on the lookout for false breakouts. Breakouts from the expanding triangle can be quite deceptive. Be cautious of quick reversals back into the pattern. For this kind of concern, you could use the 3-day rule or the 3-period rule or the 3% rule. The 3-period rule is 3 candle. I promise you, it's upside. Yeah. The 3-candle rule, essentially, the 3-period rule, is 3 candle close above or below a key area of technical resistance. The 3% rule is a close 3% above or below that area of technical resistance. That could kind of help you with the false breakouts. But you should be also employing other technical indicators to help gauge whether this is a reversal pattern or not. Look to some of these momentum indicators, relative strength index we've talked about, moving average convergence divergence we've also talked about with respect to gauging what the volatility or the direction of the market is. And so this is what it looks like as a reversal pattern. So you can see that we're ascending, we're making higher highs and higher lows, then we get locked into this widening triangle, broadening pattern, and then look what ends up happening. We end up tanking. So that is kind of how it looks as a reversal pattern. So how do we trade this, right? How do you trade this? Well, first, you need to figure out if it's going to be a continuation or reversal. So expanding triangles require extra caution due to their ambiguity. Consider the following. If the triangle forms within an established trend, so if you had higher highs and higher lows before you got locked into that broadening pattern, a breakout in the direction of the trend is more likely to be a continuation. So you're looking for a breakout, and if there was a breakout that was preceded by a trend, you put a couple of check marks there. With respect to your entry and your stop loss for continuation trades, you enter shortly after the confirmed breakout, perhaps using the 3% or the 3-period rule. You're going to place a stop just below the lower trend line for long trades and above the upper trend line for short trades. And some additional tips, as we always do, you got to manage risk wisely, especially with these patterns that are by definition bamboozling and contradictory at times, right? So expanding triangles, thank you, Raymond. Expanding triangles involve higher volatility. Manage your position size carefully and consider using trailing stops when appropriate. And patience is key. Adara, don't rush into trades. Wait for a clear confirmation of the breakout direction and consider additional confirmatory factors.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you so much for delivering that lesson of the day. Yeah, that megaphone, it is a different one. As I was saying earlier, it's like weirdly common in the wild. How goes Longeveron?
It's not bad. We got into 170 a day. I didn't wet my beak. I think I'm going to wait for $1.75 and see if we can get something in and around there.
Nice.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. Hope
Hopefully.
you print, as you
Thank you.
Yeah, why not? But two can play that game.
Hey.
But yeah, so NVIDIA. I'm just staring at NVIDIA. You might be like Adara, and you just yapped for infinity about how NVIDIA is a long. Why do you now think it's a short? I don't know if it's a long-term short. I think for my purposes, it could be a short. I'll explain. Like I said, I'm trying to do more tape scalping. The book here, 126, there is something in the water. We can't break above it. That and a topping tail candle. Adara, you know what levels you like on NVDA. You could short this. You could short this to 125.60. Okay, we're gonna wait because I don't want to like take it just because I feel pressured to like punch and pray. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I don't love the setup, I should not be taking it. But I do love the setup, so we're gonna have to see on this. I just want a little bit more confirmation. I know NVIDIA can run. I know NVIDIA is in an uptrend. Taking NVIDIA just because of one topping tail candle is not the vibe. Okay, we're gonna stop wrapping. Yeah, I'll keep looking at this for like hours if I don't change this chart now. So NVIDIA, I'll revisit you, don't worry. GME though, continuing to top and turn here at VWAP. This is getting really spicy. Part of me was considering asking for shorts for GME. The reason I don't want locates on GME is because this is not the style of trading I'm trying to do. I want to take my quick scalps. If I took NVIDIA or GME, okay, I'm clearly having NVIDIA on the mind. If I took GME short, I'd be taking it kind of more as a prolonged move, and that's just not the type of trade I have. It's not really what my risk management is set up for. I appreciate what Neil had to say with the lesson of the day. You want to make sure you're taking trades that make sense for you, that you feel comfortable taking. I think that could have been part of the issue with IWM, is I liked this IWM breakdown trade. I managed it appropriately, and I mean, I'm really happy I got it where I did because we've popped like 10 pennies? A lot of pennies since I left, 15 pennies. But I was trying to remember where I left. But yeah, so I got out 90s because I got involved in this. I like the lower highs, lower lows. I thought we'd have a flat bottom break, and I also thought that because look at that support earlier. To me, I was like, if we break 205.70, it's on. I got involved 205.77s, planned addition at 205.84s. I said, if we break above 90s, get out. We broke above 90s, got out. But the issue was, even as I was in this trade, I was like, Adara, I don't know if this is the vibe. Why'd you do this? I'm still profitable in IWM because of the earlier trades. Like you know what I mean? I'm happy with the management. I think that's something to pat myself a little bit on the back for. But it's like also what, you know, you have to always think about why you're in trades, what kind of trading you're trying to do. NVIDIA's still making eyes at me, so I'm gonna have to go see what's up over there.
Absolutely.
But how goes your Longeveron?
Oh, it's good. We're still waiting, so I'm gonna leave that resting beak wetter to see if it prints, guys. A new high of day on MSFT, and by virtue of that, it is now a new all-time high, 439.79. We are creeping up ever so slowly into that 440 area. That would obviously be another all-time high. The soft one right now is at 3.26 billion. Apple at 3.312 billion. So they're competing. Who's in first? Who's in second? We're going to have to watch this. And let's not forget about the monster NVIDIA. It's also not that far behind, almost 1 billion, 3.099 right now for NVDA. Now, look, I got no trades at the moment. I got to tell you the truth. I'm not seeing a whole lot. All I'm seeing, though, is Meta breaking out beyond this range now. The monster Meta, I like Adara's read on this earlier because she was saying that these higher lows were in play, and more accurate she could not be because then you got the flat top break through VWAP. VWAP generally 508.25. Now we're looking at 509.25. I was also looking at this topping tail candle here that came in at 1125 that sent us all the way down to 506 again. I was looking at that level getting taken on a closing basis, and it does because this candle closed decidedly above that level. So how do we weasel our way into the trade? I'm going to look for respect on the 10. So if I'm looking to get in on the 10 right now, again, the 10 is dynamic, so you're going to have to move as the 10 moves. But right now, the 10's hanging out 508.25. If we get that, like if it was to come into 508.25 now, I'd get long. But I know that probably won't be the price by the time this thing moves down from 509.25 to 508.25. So I'm going to have to be alive to where the 10 period is at any moment in time. because I want to get long on META here. It's now up 1/3%, and we saw what it did the last few days. We talking about how 500 was a level that it had trouble taking subsequent to earnings, and that changed on the 10th because we closed above 500, and then we did it again yesterday, and we're well above it today. So if that's the case, we know that Meta is in a bit of a local uptrend, whatever that may be. So I'm going to be looking to pull up Meta on a trading screen. Let's go ahead and do that now. Dang it, Longeveron, go back up. Let's load up the Zuck train here.
Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Hard.
I know, right? And then set up a dip. Again, the dip is going to have to keep moving because, well, the 10 period is moving. So I'm going to put it at 508, and I want to put 43s because 44 is an unlucky number. Yeah.
I forgot about that because 88s are lucky.
Told you I have no 4 in my building.
Oh, right. I forgot that was your whole thing. Yeah.
No 4 in my building.
That's interesting.
So I'm putting up the dip trade there. We'll see if that one prints. There's also local price action support on that crest over here at the 60-cent area, but I'm gonna try to base it off moving averages. The moving average is already moving up as I spoke. All right, that is the look there. Now I want to mention Apple as well because everybody and their mother wants to know what Apple is doing. Now Apple, I gotta tell you, look at these bottoming tail candles over here and putting in a bit of a higher high with higher lows. Apple could be curling here for a 216 hold and curl. So I'm going to be very alive to the fact that Apple is putting in these bottoming tail candles. Now, when they put in bottoming tail candles, essentially what you're seeing here is buyers, overwhelming seller, buyer exuberance is what you're seeing because the price got pushed down low. So good, though, for the people who want to buy it that they decide to buy it up, elevated or not. So Apple, I'm looking for a possible rounded bottom with these bottoming tail candles through that 216 level. If it starts curling and making a decided higher low, higher low, higher high, I'm going to get in on AAPL. Have I traded Apple today? I don't think.
I don't think you have.
Did I? Let me look at there. No, I haven't traded the monster today. No, AAPL has not been on my radar in the day.
Apple should be so flattered you're calling it the monster now, not the dead one. Because
know,
the
right?
monster used to be name you reserved for NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. NVIDIA still is the monster.
Oh,
to be with all due respect, you know, nothing to Jensen and his boys over there.
As someone who's trading NVIDIA is like, thank you, Sharif, for respecting me. But no, I want to talk about this NVIDIA short. Really happy I took it. Also really happy I got out. You know, I realized, you know what your own personal analyst is? Your own gut. That's your analyst telling you to buy, sell. Like, that's why I love when Sean's talking about Katina Capital, right? It's like levels he likes for whatever reason. This NVIDIA, I stand by that as a point of entry. I would have regretted not taking it. Look at all these rejections we had here, pushing up above 126. I love that look. I have no qualms. I do not regret taking it. But what I am proud of is I initially was going to risk into 126.16. I did not like the way we're pushing into 126.10s. I got out 126.08s, risked like 10 pennies. Did I get out too early? Arguably, but I can feel good about it because I didn't like what I was seeing in the book. I trusted myself and I ran for the hills. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. Also, I just realized, you know what's really apt about you calling Meta the Zuck train?
What?
When you think about it, it's called Meta platforms, like train platforms.
Oh, wow. Okay, she just pushed back her chair. I mean, she really liked that one. I
shouldn't, you know, laughing at my own jokes, but why not?
Why not?
I heard that. I was like, why not? Also, Jesus Cabrera, 199 super chat. Thank you very much. AVPT, long-term chart, please. I do not know what AVPT is. Let's take a look here. Oh, okay. Volume on the intraday, 600,000 shares. But let's take a look at AVPT. This is AvPoint. This, I need more deets, so we're going to go find out what the deal is there for AvPoint. Okay. AvPoint, insider owned 47.18%. That is not a bad look. But the rest of these are not. Yeah, we've got short float just under 7%, which is, to use a Sharifism, negligible. Total float of almost 100,000 shares, or 100 million shares almost. So yeah, this is not even a small company. So index is on the IWM here, RUT. Small cap index, 1.75 billion, so just under 2 billion market cap. So legally a small cap, but doesn't really have any of the stats that you kind of expect from a small cap. I don't mind, actually, this daily chart for AvPoint. I have to say, I would say it's AvPointing in the right direction. Like, look here. We had this nice little top here for a while of 850. We have a bounce at 860 on a wicking basis on a daily chart, so not bad. We're trying to curl higher here for F point. Let's take a look. I know you wanted that longer term, so let's go 5-day. Let's take a weekly look at F point. Okay, weekly is I also don't dislike. I think the daily right now a lot clearer, but weekly I kind of see a cup and handle. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm seeing this rounded bottom here.
Oh, very good call.
And then
very good call.
And then push back
the
up.
breakout through the top of the cup.
Yeah.
And it's using it as support now, like that area.
Oh yeah.
Good call.
Support. And also look, we're pushing near these previous areas of that support there, trying to come as resistance. If we break above that, I think it's a nice look there for $9. I think that, yeah, I don't see anything pointing in the direction of any weakness here, especially in a longer term. Again, not a lot of volume intraday, but for a longer term trade,
wow.
I don't know how much that matters. Nice look, but congrats to you on Apple.
We just took 30 pennies like that on Apple. Super quick. Yeah, the dead one. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was, look, I kept talking about these bottoming tail and the curl, and it manifested. Okay, so there you go. So now I'm only just mad at myself now for not holding more and holding it for longer. But there we go. The bottoming tail candles do end up, doing what they thought they were going to do, and there we go. We just touched the $0.50, so I was able to take nice 30 pennies super quick on that name. AAPL back above 216, and 216 was an interesting line because I heard some of the traders back there. They were talking, it was Max and one other trader, and the other trader was telling Max basically about his long at 216, how he got cut up on Apple multiple times, and Max was like, why are you getting long at 216? That was the area top, right? You don't get long at 216. But once you clear 216 and you get up to 218.12, do you use 216 as a bottom area support? Well, if you did that, you had to give it a lot of room because it dipped into 214 and, and 4/5. Give or take, got to that 80 penny area. But here it goes, it's on its way to 217. Apple still though with lower highs, so be cognizant of that, all right? Even though we got a nice curl up there, there is incrementally 3 lower highs from the current price action. Let's see if that changes. But yeah, very, very interesting look on Apple today. And yeah, that's the look there. Wow. Look how much it cleared my entry by. Wow, Apple. It just blew. Like, I don't even know why I covered there. Anyway, I suck. Let's move back into long Jeveron. I'm trying to pack my patience with this 155 hold. I want a beak wetter at 174. It didn't make it up to 174 last time. It made it up to 170. I was too cheap, or too greedy, I should say, to want to cover everything at 170. So I'm going to continue to wait for that 174. I'm encouraged by the fact that this trough over here that we put in at 10 after the hour is higher than the trough that we put in at 10 before the hour. So incrementally higher lows. And we know that it was looking like one hell of a bull flag. Scott H and I were talking about that in the chat. And he liked that 150 level as well. So we'll see if these higher lows mean anything, because just because we're getting higher lows doesn't mean squat. We have to look at the highs as well. And we're also getting lower highs. So a bit of a compression pattern. We'll see how this one resolves. If you listen to the textbooks, compression patterns typically resolve in the direction of the trend. Well, what's the trend? Well, it's up 91%. Take a guess. So, is your Fred until it ends, bends and ends and all these other things. The Katina Man is still long NVIDIA.
And episode 3 is in the books, baby.
And episode 3 is in the books. We showed the pictures of you and Brendo doing the podcast because, yeah, the Chilean Nightmare sent me pictures and we were showing them. He's like, Fabian's like, don't expose me, dude. I didn't know this was such a big secret. I thought we were trying to promote the podcast. I didn't know that.
Or what?
Well, I do. No, kidding.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, he's here.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, everybody. I feel like Roaring Kitty a little bit here. I should have just started it.
Did you get your sling out?
You
Wait
need
for the
an arm
chat. Wait
sling,
for the
bro.
chat. I'm awake. No. Look at this trade on NVIDIA, by the way. Come over to my screen, Miss Ramin, here, just quickly. Look at this. Look at this dip buy on VWAP right here. Boom, in 3 minutes we make $1. Now we sit back down, we make $1.50 as it comes right back up to the highs. Look, at the end of the day, we just talked about this on our podcast. Trust in whatever you're doing. I heard Adara before I went over
Trust
here.
me, bro.
She was shorting NVIDIA, I believe, at one point. She believed in that trade. That's all good. You can win on both the long and the short. I have no idea what Apple's doing here, but at the end, highs again?
Not at all time, but very much local, yeah.
you have to trade the book that's in front of you, and ultimately have a good time doing it. I'm so proud, obviously, of this midday show for putting on the content that they do for you guys every single day. Can you tell I like holding this thing? I think maybe I'll do the rest of the show with this mic. I like this, but no, it's just about finding your comfort zone. Wow, Apple really is going here. 217 again, just bounced off, and again, look at this 200 period bounce. Right there, you know, like that's something that you look for, bounces back off of something like that. Look at this chart. Wow, Apple, straight fire right there. Microsoft's going up as well. What's up, Rivian millionaire? Sean's a crazy dude. What's up with that? Okay. Hey, I'm about to go. Yeah, I'm about to go for a walk. We went for one little quick walk there. We did the podcast and had such a good time doing it. Honestly, episode 3 of this podcast is going to just elevate.
They're going to get it, Katina, man.
You're getting it Saturday at 10 o'clock. We're going to what time?
Good
10
job.
o'clock.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I said.
Yeah.
Saturday at 10 o'clock.
Can we get
Hit
a
the
bit
like,
of a
hit the
preview?
subscribe.
Is there any possibility we can get a bit of a...
I thought you got a preview, didn't it? Should Chilean Nightmare there send you some...
No, the topic, Katina, man, not like...
All right, we'll talk to you a little bit. So we talked about hard skills versus soft skills, and about meshing those two together, right? We talked a little bit about sales. If sales is your thing, and you know you're either thinking about getting into sales, or thinking about how some of the traits that a successful sales. Have you seen Glenn Ross?
No, I have not.
Turn Sharif's mic off immediately. Adara, have you seen Glenn Ross?
No, but I know.
Turn Gary's mic off immediately. You have to watch Glenn Ross, okay? Alec Baldwin, honestly, sales, it's a great movie. It's absolutely fantastic.
Love it.
I suggest everybody go and watch that. I mean, people in the chat, throw some ones up right now. Oh, you want an episode just of me? I mean, it's pretty much what we're doing right now. CRM, I like that. Great movie there, says Kirby. Okay, all right, Sharif, I'm going to throw this back to you guys.
Yes, sir.
Because enough is enough. I just want to tell
Katina,
everybody,
Katina,
great
man,
job.
before you go, we're missing the walk and talks. I don't know. I know you're a busy dude, but we're missing the walk and talks. All right, there we go. He wants to trade.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'll do a little bit of a walk and talk.
All right. Yes. The people.
You want walk and talk?
It was one of my favorite segments on your Insta.
You know,
and I know that other people like it as well because it gets
Okay.
mentioned in the chat.
Okay, well, thanks for promoting the Insta as well. You know what I did like doing? Me and Ramin might
That
take this away. This is like Looney Tunes over here.
She's so evil.
Well, I want to do the where I'm going on the street again.
Oh, I remember those. Those were so good.
You know what I mean?
I remember that with Faye. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Katina, man,
Oh,
440.
by the way, when is Neil racing Fahad? Where is Neil?
Oh, yeah, well.
Where's Neil and his broke down hamstring? Where's that guy at? All right,
Katina, man,
back
did you
over to the
see
main
that
show.
Microsoft has
you, guys.
now broken 440, guys? Wow, what a day on these markets, Adara. 440 break on the soft one. I'm getting at a Longeveron at these levels over here. So please, this punch, what are you looking at?
Yeah, you could say that again. I really want to. I appreciate what Sean said about like if you feel good about a trade, you could have like there's different approaches to take on a trade, right? Like I had quite a few NVIDIA shorts today. Most of them were profitable except for that last one. But again, I still stand by that last short. So you know what I did? I still saw stuff I liked in NVDA at the 126, so I got right the heck back in. I've done this before where I've avoided trades because the first trade I tried to take at that level didn't work out. Just because the first trade didn't work out doesn't mean that the idea is broken. It might just mean your timing was off. In this case, that could be what it is. Now, though, we're actually, that time we were a little bit above the 90 MA. Now we're kind of perching below the 90 MA. So I have no issue with this. I took a little bit more size in this as well because now I have a little bit more confluence. I've already seen us fail to break above that 126.20. Much like last time, my stop for this is going to be 126.16. However, I will scalpulate out if I don't like what I'm seeing at 126.10. So we're keeping the risk to reward tight, and we're keeping things scalpy, and that's how we're going to hopefully minimize those losses and maximize those gains. That was what Neil's lessons of the day was. That's one of the hardest things I found since going live on Tesla yesterday, where I had like some good trades, but they were all basically eviscerated by one questionable stock that I was just very tilted on and should have been actually avoiding. Like, Adara, there are other charts. Why was Tesla the only one you had up? You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta find stuff that works for you. This NVIDIA trade, that short that didn't work out, I don't feel badly about it because like Sean said, I felt confident in it. I liked the levels I liked. I had reasons for liking it. I took it with risk being appropriate. I can't be too upset about that. Do you know what I mean? And in the same way, I can't be upset that I missed that GME short I was yapping about, because this is not something I would have felt as comfortable trading. This is not my type of style. This is not a scalp. This is a hold for the move down. That being said, anyone who got short here has that short. Congratulations to you. Likewise, anyone who had money in the long GME, congrats to you either. I have no sides. I am not a roaring kitty. I am not a lemon. I'm not a fruit, nor am I a cat. I am just a person here, hoping everyone prints. I don't know why I sound like Julia Roberts in Notting Hill, but over here, yeah, we're just having a good time over here. NVIDIA, I'd have an even better time if you cracked nicely below that 126 level. I guess, yeah, we should probably do the lesson again in a little bit, but I'm just going to let my NVIDIA cook.
I just want to mention GameStonk has an interesting relationship here with the 200 exponential on the 5. So the IB low today, not, that I want to put a whole lot of weight on that IB low for GME, but it did find support at the 200. So did the institutional prints at 8 a.m. And then yesterday, it was using the 200 as resistance. So I'm interested here in what GameStop does in and around this area. I'm talking about the 29.5, 29.25. What's it printing right now? Let's just have a look real quick. 29.3, so it's in between both. I want to see if it curls up here, because if GameStop curls up here, there's also price action support at this level. Look at these prints here from 10.10 and 10.15. It's breaking down now, but I want to wait to see exactly, do we find support in and around this area? If we do, and we start printing a couple of green candles to move up, I'm going long GameStop. Simple as that. So we're going to watch to see exactly what we get in and around this area. It is a price action area for support. It is also the 200. Not that I want to put too much weight into the 200 because it really hasn't respected it strictly, but it was just a general zone. Right now, getting bought up, looking to reclaim that level again. So all eyes on GameStop here for me anyway. I'm looking to see if I can weasel a trade on GME. And since I don't have any shorts, I'm going to be interested in the longs. A nice hammer candle coming in right now, and we'll send you. That was like an even bigger one.
Sorry,
than the one that you do. I like it. Very good. Yeah. It usually means it's a good trade, so we'll find out about that in 1 second there. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on GameStop. Now, Longeveron, I'm done with that trade. Took out everything at 70, so a nice 15-penny winner on this dollar name. Shout out to Scott H for bringing that to my attention. Scott's always trading these small cappers in the chat. So if you're into that kind of thing, Scott H, always looking at these smaller cap names. He likes them. Some other people like them as well. So yeah, I want to shout out Scott there because he's always active in the chat and he's always trading very similar things. So shout out him. The other one that's moving here in terms of small cap gapper world, DDC just bounced off VWAP about 20 minutes ago, and DRCT, they're both continuing to do well. They both haven't broken down below the volume weighted average price in the same way that Longeveron has it. So they're both doing well in terms of small cap gappers that are still in play this afternoon. Let's see what we get going forward today.
Right now, we're going to get going forward is going to be a lesson, but I do want to talk about the NVIDIA, and I'm sorry for that aggressive fist pump thing that happened over there. I was really happy with this trade. As Brandon Townsend said here in the chat, NVIDIA drop. Yeah, so that was why I got excited here. I got short at the 126. Like I said, I liked that level earlier. Didn't pan out, got out. I think I lost like maybe 10 pennies on it. You know what I mean? It was all good. But I got back in because I still saw what I liked in the book. And I said, now, Adara, you've actually seen it fail to break out that 126.20. You have more confidence and confluence for this than you did initially. So why not try again? Go back. So that is what I did here with this NVIDIA. I got out part of it at the 125.85. That was planned. Then I said, as long as we stay below my entry level, I'll stay in this trade. We had that nice little drop here into I think it was 125.72 is where I got out, so got about 27 pennies. Please just punch. Really, again, just trying to find that confidence, whatever that is, and feeling good about your ideas. Because if you feel good about your ideas and you have a risk plan for if it doesn't go well, I think you're set. And I think that's why I've had better trades today. It's like even the trades that didn't work out, I took them because I liked the idea and I had risk management, so I wasn't able to lose too much. With this Tesla, same, I was risking very little on Tesla. If it broke below or above my levels, I got out. You know what I mean? That's really the type of trading I'm trying to do more of. I feel like there has been some breakthroughs lately in my type of trading, and hopefully this continues, because that's what we want here and how to trade. And I'm really just happy to be here and learn and grow with everybody every single day, because we have such a great community here. And I want to shout out Sean as well, and Freedom and Wealth, because if you like freedom and wealth, why not sit and talk about it and listen to great conversations from Sean and Brendan on the Freedom and Wealth podcast every Saturday at 10 a.m. I think what Sean had to say there is a little bit of a snippet, and I do think, yeah, having this community is great. So why not tune into the community at 10 a.m. on a Saturday? Mike Rogers, thank you for reminding me earlier. I said Hood over that 2410 would be kind of interesting to me. Hood did break above 2410. Thank you for telling me, Mike Rogers. My thing with Hood, too, is like I said, I think it just didn't have as clean of a setup for me at that time. We still bounced off VWAP, so you had a nice look to anyone long Hood. I wasn't like it's gonna fall. I just didn't think there was as clean of a setup as, especially I think I looked at Oracle right before. But yeah, shout out to anyone long Hood. It did break that 2410. Thank you, Mike Rogers, for holding me accountable in that. Like, it broke the level. Nice look. Vlad Tenev and co. probably, please as punch there with that Robin Hood. Looking under the hood at this one, I do think we're continuing to push to the upside. But lesson time now for reals. Expanding triangles. Why not? There's the things you actually see quite a lot in the market, but we don't actually, it wasn't something I was necessarily as familiar with in terms of how does it move? What does it mean? How do you trade it? We're going to give you some pointers. How do you understand these expanding triangles? Well, basically, the diverging trend, they're going to have diverging trend lines. So unlike a symmetrical or ascending, descending triangle that will converge, the expanding triangles have diverging trend lines. So it's not going to be parallel. It's not going to be coming closer. It's going to be pushing apart. Price action, I don't know why I said that like a children's character. The price action creates higher highs and lower lows within the triangle, and each swing is going to precede the previous one. So look at this. You've got your bearish expanding triangle where you're pushing higher and lower, and then we break to the downside. Bullish expanding triangle, exact same thing, but you're going to push to the upside. It really depends on the context and which side it breaks out from. But don't worry, we'll talk about that in a second over here. So why are these expanding triangles relevant? Why are we having a whole lesson dedicated to them today?
Why are we,
Done
Dara?
3 times. Well, I'll tell you, Sharif.
All right.
Let's find out. Pace now. Pack your patience. So expanding triangles are relevant because they can be continuation patterns, suggesting the trend will resume after a period of volatility, but they can also be precursors to reversal. So they're more complex than other triangle patterns. Basically, they're relevant because unlike a lot of these trend lines or patterns, they don't actually have one answer. They're very bamboozling. They're very indecisive. They can't decide. They keep on looking from left to right. Shout out to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo by Justin Bieber. But yes, that's the thing is these patterns are a little bit harder to read, which is why we're going to go over them because there are certain things you can look for, right? So how do you identify them? You're going to want to see an established trend. This is less of a rule and more of, a guide here. It's not always going to be present, but expanding triangles can sometimes form within an existing uptrend or a downtrend. Down. Diverging trend lines are also worth noting here. You want to draw your trend lines along the peaks and troughs of the price swings. The trend lines should diverge, so they're going to be moving further apart as the pattern unfolds like a ball of yarn. Also, expanding triangles, some more continuation here, right? Let's talk about breakout direction. So you're going to want to see a breakout above the upper trend line for a bullish continuation or below the lower trend line for a bearish continuation. That could show ongoing trends. You also want to see your volume confirmation. Increased volume on the breakout bar will strengthen the continuation signal. And who doesn't want a strong continuation signal?
I want one.
Yeah, same here. Why not? So does this pattern. Also, target projection is, of course, really worth noting. It's always nice when these patterns measure your targets. Not all of them will, but some of them will be like, hey, I'll throw you a bone. Here you go, here's a bone. This will be like the levels that we look at, right? That's what some of these do, which I think is kind of cool. I love it. Appreciate it. The measured height of the triangle from a peak to the opposing trough can be projected upwards from the breakout point for bullish continuation or downward for bearish continuation to estimate your potential price target. Let's look. So here's one example, continuation formation. You have your move down here. You got your expanding triangle. We're breaking higher. Oh my gosh, look at this look. And then we come to the downside, make a lower high, swoop to the downside. Also, this is worth noting. I don't know if this is on purpose, but look where we have this rejection of the expanding triangle.
Oh yeah, that's a different thing. That's support and resistance, but
right?
bang
But it's
on,
interesting how it comes
on.
into that support and resistance.
Yeah.
So that's cool too. It shows that this pattern is still, the downtrend is still in full swing. But this is one example of target projection as well. You have your downtrend, you've got your height, and the profit targets. You have your short sell entry, then it breaks down and you've got this profit target from whence we fell. So I think that's a nice look as well here. Expanding triangles and potential reversals here, because we talked about continuations. What happens if we flip it and reverse it? Well, we'll tell you. This is going to be an example of an exhaustion of the trend. You've got your expanding price swings. The stock's getting more and more tired. It's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this trend. I got to switch it up. So this can basically indicate underlying buying or selling pressure is weakening and potentially leading to a reversal. False breakouts are another really good sign. False breakouts in general can be really indicative of a lot of things, so always worth watching. But in this case, breakouts from expanding triangles can be really deceptive and can hint of more weakness to come or more strength to come if you're bearish or bullish, respectively. You want to be cautious of these quick reversals back into the pattern. Last but not least for this slide, confirmation with other indicators. We love this here on How to Trade. We talk about it ad nauseum because it's really key. Due to the potential for reversals, you always want to use additional technical indicators like your RSI, like your Bollinger Bands to gauge momentum and potential overbought or oversold conditions. Here's one example. I love this too. You've got the bulls trying to push the prices up, bears trying to push the prices down. We had this uptrend earlier. Then the bears end up winning, and you end up breaking down. You also have a lot of false breakouts on either side on a wicking basis, so that's kind of interesting too. What about trading expanding triangles? Now that we've talked a lot about how they're formed and what they mean, how do you trade them? Well, we'll tell you. Continuation versus reversal. Of course, you're not going to trade a continuation and a reversal pattern the same way. They're indicative of different market sentiments. So expanding triangles are going to require extra caution due to their ambiguity. So you might want to consider, for example, is this triangle forming with an established trend? In that case, a breakout in the direction of the trend is more likely to be a continuation. You'll also want to use other technical indicators, as always, to confirm the validity of the breakout and to assess your reversal risks. There's always a risk of a reversal, as markets like to do. Also, entry and stop loss really key for continuation trades. You're going to want to enter shortly after a confirmed breakout and place a stop loss just above the lower trend line or below the lower trend line for long trades and above the upper trend line for short trades. You always want to manage your risk very carefully. Make sure that because of the expanded volatility in a expanding triangle, pun accidentally intended, you want to make sure you're managing your position very carefully and consider using trailing stop loss orders. You also want to be patient. As always, pack your patience, as Sharif says. Don't rush into your trades. Make sure you're waiting for your clear confirmation of the breakout and consider additional confirmation from other indicators. And that's our lesson of the day.
I love that. You saw exactly what I was going to talk about there, Ram, huh? Okay. She got it. She got the assignment. Here is what I wanted to talk about. This is very relevant to us today because we got CPI today, which is a measure of inflation. So where is inflation and where is it not? Here it is. Auto insurance, I will attest to this. Absolutely. My auto insurance went up 23% year over year. I was paying $316. I'm now paying $384. Do the math. It's ridiculous. And it really has nothing to do with my driving. I have perfect driving record. I also have the app that tracks my driving. I have the highest score on there, and it still went up. And that has nothing to do with me. Rent, obviously, we kind of know that. Rent and housing, shelter inflation, they call it. Both second and third, not really surprised there. This one kind of surprised me. Household energy, really? I didn't anticipate that, not with nat gas. Most houses, I'm assuming, well, in Ontario anyway, they're mostly nat gas. And nat gas has been on down and to the right. Not lately, though, but it was definitely at all-time lows. So why is household energy stay high? We'll see. Restaurant meals still up there. And then below, the yellow one is overall. So we're 3.3. So anything below 3.3 is trailing the CPI. Medical care still high. Transportation, personal care. Well, I'm not going to talk much about these. Where is there deflation? And this one I can also attest to. Used cars in Ontario, at least here, have absolutely taken a nosedive. Yes, Model Y, I'm talking about you. The Model Y was 100,000 Canadian dollars in 2021. That same car now is like $60,000. I'm talking about the similar year, similar model. So if it's brand new in 2021, I'm talking about 2024. So it's ridiculous how much used cars have gone down. I'm not just talking about the Teslas, Neil. I'm talking about all these other ones. There you go. There you go. He throws in that one. I love it. Rental cars also taking a bit of a dip there. Airfare, we're not surprised there. That's also taking a dip. Appliances were heavily heavily inflated during the pandemic, mostly because of supply chain shortages. Those have also dropped about 5%, and you can see some of these ones over here. So interesting look at where inflation is and isn't right now on these here markets. All right, I had a dip trade, set up at VWAP on Meta. I canceled it because I got up to go to the bathroom, and well, that was a mistake because it went right into the volume weighted average price at the $0.50 and then nicely moved back up, breaking that 509 area again. So I'll see if Meta wants to continue to respect the volume weighted average price, at least in this afternoon. It definitely was respecting it in the morning, but as resistance, not support. Now using it as a nice level of support. The market did take a dip there while Adara was dropping hot lines on the lesson. It did briefly break below 19.5. It got as low as 19, right there, this one over here, 19,490. It went to 49, no it didn't. It went lower than that. Where the hell did it go? Went to 19,490. Okay, so dropped a whole 10 points below 19.5, but as you can see, it got bought back up and we are right above 19.5 again. So 19.5 continued to feature on the day as a level of support. We'll keep eyes on that. Here's Meta again right now coming into VWAP. So here's my chance. And what's the Fuge doing? I think I'm going to get involved here on said Meta, but because it is spreada, as Adara calls it, I may not get filled at my very frugal price, Adara, at $508.55. The bid showing that. The ask, though, sadly, at 71. So we'll have to see if we can get filled with such a wide spread. Elon. Agreed. That's ridiculous with auto insurance. Don't get me started, Elon. Don't get me started, my man.
I'll see you.
I am not long Meta, so I'm going to send it to you while I can place my stops and everything.
Yeah, so I'm short NVIDIA. And here's why. The reason I'm so skeptical is because I like the idea of this trade, but I know it's NVIDIA. I know it can go against me at any moment. You know, it could be a WinVIDIA or a SynVIDIA, and I really won't know. But the reason I got NVIDIA is because, I've been trying to short the pops on this all day. You know what? I was looking for 50s. I don't know if I'll get 50s. I'll take 65s. Why not? There we go. Please just punch. I got involved in this because I wanted those 90 MA rejections, and I also I was watching what I saw in the book. We had that move off of that 125.50. The SPY popped. We had NVIDIA pop. I was like, okay. If we still stay below this 126, stay in. I was risking to like 125.80s. Like I was risking like 5 pennies. So it's going to be super tight. I took this scalp here, and then when you see, like I liked that we were holding the way we were holding the book here at that 125.75. I liked it. I said, Adara, take your short. Took like 10 pennies. Please just punch again. Just trying to work on my scalping. Happy I got it where I did too, because it looks like NVIDIA's trying to crack higher. So this is just nice little scalp I wanted to yap about for a second. I also want to shout out you, Scott Edwards, tagging you here.
Oh, what'd he say?
Just a shout out to Sharif. The way you cover trades and listen to the chat is great. Your insight just gave me my best ever trade. For me, be patient and listen. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice.
So yeah, I just didn't know if you saw that. So
no, I didn't.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Scott Edwards, for that. And yeah, shout out to Sharif for just killing it every single day. I'm so happy I get to be here with this whole community and also get to sit in this desk with you.
Likewise, the feeling's mutual, Adara. You know that. So yeah, that's just the way it is around here. We get along. All right, long Meta, 55s, 508.55. First beak wetter set up at the $0.75. The break of the fifth of a dollar is going to end my trade on this one. This is going to have to respect VWAP. It is predicated on a VWAP bounce, so you're not going to catch me DCAing into this. That's not the move. I either print or I get stopped out of this trade, okay? So it's a VWAP dump and hold here, to be honest with you. If we can get it, fantastic. If you can't, too bad. Timon, what's the source of that? Where's the inflation? Yahoo Finance. Just go on their Instagram. They've got it on there, my man. Or I don't even know if you probably can get it on their website as well, but it's Yahoo Finance. So shout out to you. Thank you for asking that good question. All right, what else we got over here? So I'm in this meta trade. I've already told you about that. That's going to either be a hit or miss. We'll find out shortly here as it's dancing with VWAP. Let's go back into... Oh, Scott, I should have listened to you, my man. You were right, Scott. I was wrong. I talked about this level over here being a price action support area on GameStop. I didn't put my money where my mouth, well, other people's money, where my mouth was at that 29. I was going to take it at 29.5, despite the fact it bounced off 29.25. That would have given me $1 or 75 pennies there based on this recent retracement into that 30 and a quarter. So I'm a little disappointed with myself. I definitely would have had a target of 30.50 just based on where GameStop closed. It's also used that 30.50 as both support and resistance on the day, depending on where it was. So let's see exactly what we get here. What did we get? Yes, we got the print on Meta. Bang, 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 bang. Pleased with this one. I saw the blotter make flashing things, and I'm like, okay, I must have printed on something. So we'll see exactly what we get, and we will not get upset, Adara, as we watch Meta possibly stop me out for the remaining balance here. I'm not going to let this trade go against me. I think if it breaks that third of a dollar, I'm going to have to adjust my stop now from the fifth to a third. Since I've wet my beak already on it, we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go like this. We got to give it a spread there because you know how this one is. It's super spready, right? And then I'm going to put my next beak wetter at right in front of that 509 area. We're going to set at 508.95s, come what may. All right, let's see what everything else up to here. Quickly, let's get back into the Mag 7.
Oh yeah, there's no rundown.
Yeah, guys, no rundown today, no afternoon rundown, just because it's FOMC, and we're going to be at the big desk, really just covering what Jerome Powell is saying on the day. Widely anticipated that we hold rates, and by the way, the speech that he reads, that is a prepared speech. It's released right at 2 o'clock on the FOMC website. If you want to follow or read it before he's even read it, it's on there. Go get it now, or not now, sorry, in a few minutes. And yeah, we'll keep tabs on that. So that is the look there. So no afternoon rundown, no voting today. That restarts tomorrow, and then we'll see what's up there. Can you take over for once?
Yeah, I can. Sorry. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
So basically, so there's no voting, guys. Tomorrow, Sharif will be voting.
50?
Sharif will not be voting, but you can vote. Also, yeah, I want to talk about this AMD trade that might have popped up there. Well, it did because I took it. So basically, I took this short. I was torn between this and Tesla because they had the same look where they were rejecting off of previous support. Now, you can't really see it, but we did have a couple topping tail candles here into that 159.80s. That's what I risked into. That's where I ended up getting out. Accidentally punched long, got out for a penny. Accidental 1 penny winner here at AMD. But no, I'm still positive on AMD. I just, again, proud I tried it. Didn't work. I'd strike. It's odd, though. I think of the two, because I think Tesla and AMD set up similarly, AMD to me was more bearish because we had our topping tail candle. Tesla actually looked more bullish, and I think this would have been the better short. And I say that because we have this base here, right? We're rejecting the base, but we're also doing that with not one, but two bullish candles. So it's kind of interesting how things, at least for the scalping purposes, I think this would have been more effective. But say, Lovey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to try it. I would even argue I probably rushed into AMD maybe more than I should have. So that's like a thing to learn. It's like, Adara, you liked your levels, you liked what you saw on the tape, but maybe you should have waited a skosh longer. And maybe, oddly enough, Tesla, the name that didn't look as good from a chart perspective might have been the better scalp short here. But yeah, it's just so interesting sometimes when things manifest or they don't manifest the way that you think they might. Yeah, no, I think that the Papa Powell pump or dump is always a really fascinating time in these markets. So let's okay, just I want to update everybody. We're gonna go to the big show today, 10 minutes early. We're gonna send it to them at 1:50. So Adara and I are going to finish up a little bit early today. That's only to get you guys ready for FOMC. I already see Brendo. He's locked and loaded at the big desk. We're ready to cover this big day, right? Widely anticipated that we hold, though. That doesn't mean he doesn't give us a bear or a dovish twist, especially in light of the fact that CPI came in light today. We could hear some dovishness from him. Maybe he's or I don't know if he has access to the data from the Department of, I believe it is the Department of Labor. Who releases CPIs? Department of Labor? I don't know.
I forget. Anyway, I don't know if he has access to the data, so he could have revised his speech earlier. Anyway, we'll find out. So that is the look. We are going to get out of here in about 5 minutes to let you guys get taken over by the big kahunas who are locked and loaded at the big desk. I wanted to mention one thing here that that we're about possibly here to get printed on Meta at the whole dollar. I've been waiting in the mid-90s. I'm seeing 90 now show up on the ask. A 99's now on the ask, 80 on the bid. I'm really close to getting printed here. The bid's got to move up a little bit, though. And there it is. Are we going to get printed? Whoa, wow. That was so annoying. I hate the spread on Meta. It crossed me by a decent amount on the ask, but the bid did not cross, so we're going to have to pack our patience with this name. But I think I have a sound idea taking this off VWAP. It's really going to be the spread that kind of makes or breaks the remaining part of this trade. So that is the look there. I wanted to mention some other stuff over here quickly. Yeah, Carvana. Oh, wow. Carvana's up 5% on the day. Yeah, it's below VWAP now, but it was up 5% on the day. Not much else for me here, guys. I hope that everybody had a good trading day. I'm sure everybody was looking at Apple. Speaking of Apple, right back above 217, baby. And now definitely having a bit of a dalliance here with 217.25. Looks like there is a seller in front of that $0.25. We were able to make it up to the $0.50, but as quickly as we made it up, we came right back down. So a bit of a consolidation area top here between the $0.50 and the $0.25. But something tells me, especially if Jerome Powell is a little dovish, this one makes a new all-time high, probably able to break that 218.12 that we printed on the day, Dara, but that's just my guess. We'll have to wait and actually see. What do you think? Is he going to twist it a little dovish today? Or?
I've noticed, and I've actually noticed this since you put it out, he's a master at not answering questions.
Absolutely.
Like, he's so good at skirting the question in a way that makes you sound like he's answered it. So I think, he has erred on the side of dove in the most recent, kind of comments. I know last time there was certainly a lot of dovish undertones. So I think he knows that's kind of how he has to be, because also it's an election year. You know what I mean? I think things are a little bit fraught.
Well, yeah, very true.
And I think we should acknowledge the fact that this election year, even though he won't, because he was asked that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think, that could be part of it as well. Like, this is his last couple months maybe, so he just wants to make sure, maybe the doves cry today. Shout out to Prince, but we'll have to wait and find out. I think he may err on the side of dovishness. I just don't know. But shout out as well to, I guess I know this is kind of a Jerome Powell non-answer, but I think I honestly, it'll really have to depend as well on the. I think what you said about the CPI is going to matter too. If he's factored in CPI, that's going to be a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to shout out Ahmed Alamwala, waiting to press the bottom on the TQQQ short. All right, my man. Look, we always hope you print around here. There's no question about that, as long as it doesn't conflict with my trade. But no, I'm kidding, of course.
You can't even say that, because you and I have traded opposite each other.
Yeah. And Neil and Sean have done as well. I've seen one long, one short, and they both print somehow. So that's just the way it is. Alex Garcia, he thinks bullish. I agree. I think we're probably going to be a little bullish this afternoon. I think he might be a little bit dovish. I mean, we got an ECB cut. We got a Bank of Canada cut. And if you look at the historical, how do you call two things that move in tandem?
Relationship?
Yeah. If you look at the historical relationship between rates in Canada and rates south of the border, they're almost in lockstep. So it doesn't always have to be that way. There we go, baby. We got the print on Meta. That's a nice winner there. We'll take a 50-penny winner super quick there on the Zuck train as it breaks above 509, now up 1/3%. Definitely still off that 510 though, Ram. But we did get a nice little trade there on Meta midday. I'm happy about this one. It was planned off the volume weighted average price. Quite simple there. We have 1 minute left before we send it up to Brendo at the big desk. Any final thoughts? That looks good there, whatever you got there. You want to show everybody?
Oh, this. Well, I'm scared because of the aioli thing, the jalapeno aioli.
Look at that right there. Where is it?
It's here. It's a burger.
There's a jalapeno right there.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
is there?
I can see it. I'll show it to you after.
Oh my God, it's even
you
worse.
See it? It's right there.
Oh, that's a strawberry. That's a strawberry.
Oh, okay,
the jalapeno aioli is in the burger.
Okay.
So yeah, much like the Fed meeting, my lunch may be spicy.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of looking at the same things. Like, I don't trade after the midday, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I will be eagerly waiting to hear what Powell and the Fed gang has to say. But I think right now we're gonna have to turn it all over.
It's all over.
To the big desk. Nice to end the show with you, because usually you're on the big screen now, right? Sharif and I back together again. We will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Right now, though, the Fed and Brendan at the big desk.
See you guys.
Hey guys, 10 minutes ago, we'll get no change. Let's be honest, not going to do anything as far as the interest rate is concerned in this.